Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to you all, wherever you are in the world, whenever it is that the sound of my voice reaches you. May I say it is the perfect time to welcome you to this marathon. My name is the Tea Tree, and I'll be hosting for the next few runs as we raise money for Imerman Angels, a 501c3 organization that envisions a world where cancer is not a solitary experience that provides psychosocial support to cancer fighters, survivors, previvors, and caregivers. No one should have to face cancer alone, and Imerman Angels make sure that no one does. Their mission is to provide comfort and understanding for all cancer survivors, fighters, previvors, and caregivers through a personalized one-on-one connection with someone who has been there. And without further ado, the voice in my earpiece tells me we are ready for Ghost of Tsushima Any Percent New Game Plus on lethal difficulty.
I guess that's my cue then. Hello everyone, I'm Aeshmah. I'm going to be your runner for the next couple of hours here. And with me on commentary is the ever wonderful...
Wicked Viking! Yay! That's me. Hi everybody. Hope everyone's well today.
So as we already said, this will be the Any Percent New Game Plus Lethal category. Lethal being the highest difficulty the game has to offer. And since we have, about 3.5 hours to talk about a lot of stuff here, why don't we just go ahead and get right into the runs? So if you guys would be so good as to give me the name of the horse, if any donations for that have come in the last few minutes.
We can do that. The winner of our horse name is going to be Kaze, thanks to a donation from the wonderful Emre. Thank you so much, Emre.
Right. Perfect. So Kaze it is. So, I guess I would just do a countdown from 3, and then we can start the timer and start the run. So let's go ahead in 3, 2, 1, go. All right. So yeah, this is Ghost of Tsushima. We are going to be here for a little bit, and to spice up things just a little bit more, like right at the start, I want to offer another donation incentive, so to speak. So if we were to reach, our set goal at the moment of $7,500 during this run, I will go ahead and tell all of you guys the true story of the Port Izumi Tea Party. So, be sure to get those donations in. And with that, I guess there should already be a donation for you guys to read, if I'm not mistaken.
Sorry about that. We are working on a little something. Would you be completely opposed to restarting? Because I missed a donation, and I would love to read it off and see what we can do.
Okay. Yeah, no, we can do that. We could do that.
All right. I will extend everyone my sincere apologies on that, and I will read off this donation from Alec47 for $10. As requested, let's name our mudkip Riles. And while we're at it, the horse doesn't deserve to die, I think. So let's name it Nobu, in semi-honor of Nobu Uematsu, and by proxy, that nice and close Final Fantasy I PSP race. Good luck to Aeshmah, except where it's funnier to have bad luck. Winky face.
So the last minute snipe. All right, so Nobu it is then. All right, so.
I like the last minute snipes. This is good,
right?
Fun times.
Right. I mean, we haven't seen so much yet, so let's just.
Well, they get that epic, that epic introduction music again.
Yeah, I mean it's nice. We don't get to hear that often. All right, so anyway, 3.5 hours ready to go in 3, 2, 1, start. Once again, guys, if we were to reach the $7,500 mark, remember, I will tell you the story of the real Port Izumi Tea Party. So, get to donating, because we have another bid war going on during the whole of this one until the very end. And I guess we already have some donations for that, right? This time?
For our incentive at the end? Yes, I would say we do. We have, to not give away what's going on, we have Spare and Kill, with Kill in the lead with 2 donations totaling $55.
That is my favorite. Kill is my favorite. I'll
It
explain why
is.
later on.
I will
I always-
explain why right now. Because at the end of my runs, whenever I do a run of this game, whenever I get a PB, I will choose the kill ending. And if I don't get a PB, I will choose the spare ending. And, the thing is, my PB/world record of this run is at this time about 3 months old. But however, we found a few new strategies in the meantime. And technically, I would have gotten a new world record during every marathon run I did in the last few weeks. However, during every single one of those runs, something on the tech side happened that invalidated the run. So I'm really hoping that we get to kill at the end of this one. So let's get to it.
I think it could be good. So that must be my cue to start talking a lot. Welcome everybody. Ghost of Tsushima. This
He really
is.
does like to talk a lot.
I do. I think I'm better at talking about the game than I am at actually playing it. So
That's true. You're hot on my heels, dude.
So this is Ghost of Tsushima. This is the, I guess you could say, anachronism for the Battle of Tsushima during the Mongol invasion. The actual Battle of Tsushima was 80 samurai versus the Mongol horde, and the 80 samurai did a decent job of holding them off until they were all utterly wiped out. Well, this story takes place. You are a lone surviving samurai. At least you start out that way. There's a few other people that survived the battle, but you are Jin Sakai, and you are not just some ordinary samurai. Unfortunately, when we do New Game Plus, we get a lot of bonuses, quality of life bonuses, but kind of lost to story bonuses, like skipping cutscenes and skipping the entire opening area. So you find out that you are Jin Sakai. You are the Jito's nephew. You are basically the next in line for clan for the clan, right? And
Yeah.
during the invasion, everyone gets wiped out except for you. Uncle gets taken prisoner, and the whole first act is you trying to rescue your uncle from the captives, from Khotun Khan instead of I think was it Kublai that actually did the invasion.
Mm,
Anyways,
I think so.
from Khotun Khan, and it doesn't go so well, and you're going to find out why a little bit later on. So you get nursed back to health from this woman here that you were seeing on the screen. That is Yuna. Yuna is going to be the, I guess, main guider for Jin's journey from noble, honor-bound samurai to we must defeat these Mongols at any cost. And he starts doing the way of the sneaky, the way of the splinter cell. And I think it's really important. It's really a lot of fun. So the story is great. We're picking up right now in Act 1 after the prologue. Um, and so we have determined we can't rescue Lord Shimura by ourselves. We have to recruit an army basically. And so that's what we're doing now. Yuna wants us to help save her brother Taka because he is a blacksmith. And so this first mission is to try to find him at this camp. And this is going to be our first instance of using the assassination technique. When we use the assassination technique, we get this flashback. And this is the flashback of Jin with his uncle. And this is where you get instilled in you the honor bound, do everything. So this quest here has a very specific route it wants you to take. You're supposed to go around and you're supposed to go through the woods and around this little windy area. But because Ash knows exactly where he's going, he just kind of takes off to the left and he heads towards these bushes. And we approach this bear at a funny angle.
So
And
basically, the
if you
game expects you to go in a somewhat of an S shape to get to this bear. However, as speedruns, we just cut right across.
Yeah, it's great what you can do when you know the
Exactly.
destinations. That's going to come into play quite a bit later on.
Hmm.
So this little cutscene here that we missed, this is where Jin gets told, always look an enemy in the eye, yada yada, all that goodness. If you want the story, buy the game. It's a good story. It's a good game. So now we're going to be introduced to the greatest technique that a samurai has ever known. This is called Tumbleweed Samurai. Apparently, back in the samurai days, if you rolled through an encampment or past your enemies, you couldn't be seen. Little known samurai strategy. Now, this is a mechanic that I hope they never patch out of the game.
Mhm,
Basically, as long as you are in a sneak mode and you initiate rolling and you never stop that roll, so as soon as you end the roll, you start another one, you can continue to roll and not be detected. And it will allow for all of these quote unquote sneak missions to be nothing more than literally roll right up to the front door. Quite fantastic.
One more bit of info on that. You actually have to make sure that no enemy has detected you before you start rolling. So as soon as one of these white bars appear on the screen that tell you that an enemy has started detecting you, this won't work anymore. So you actually have to start rolling while you are still undetected by absolutely nobody.
Absolutely. Yes. And so we went to this camp. We did our first little ninja assassin thing, and we find out, well, Taka is not here. We did rescue someone who was rather important. That was a former member of the Straw Hat Ronin. He tells us that it's very possible that her brother was taken to Azamo Bay because there was a blacksmith in the group. He also tells us that the Straw Hat Ronin were hunting Mongols in the Sutsu Prefecture, which is going to be another mission that we go to do later. So after that's all done, we mount up on our horse, and now we need to go start recruiting several people. The first of which being Lord, oh goodness gracious,
Sensei Ishikawa.
thanks. Yeah, thank you. I said Lord, and it threw me all off. Sensei Ishikawa. Sensei Ishikawa is our great archery master, and he is where you get your first bow in the new game, and it's quite fantastic. So he's a good one. One of the things that Ash wants to do first is as he rides up next to this cliff, you'll see Survivor Camp pop up on the map. That means that he has tagged that location, and we're going to do that a few times during the run because we will use that for fast travel later on. It works out very well. So a lot of this game comes down to optimization of fights, and a lot of time is lost during writing. And so we have basically routed the story missions and the writing to be as efficient as possible. So we think that we've got the best route. So Ishikawa is the first, and then we'll fast travel out to this one. So here, Ishikawa, he tells you that he wants to help you, but he's tracking down one of his former students, uh, and her name is Tomoe. We've got to go help try to find her. So it wants you to stay with Ishikawa, and it wants you to learn about how he tracks things and he sees things. But again, we know where it's going to end up eventually, so we just come right up to these Mongols. Quick little chain assassination, a couple little kills, and the whole idea of him coming up and doing this really slow wandering thing, not very good. So one of the things that we haven't talked about yet, if you notice, one of the Mongols was he fell back on the ground and he's backing away. He was scared. That is because we have bonuses to the armor that we wear. The armor that we wear is not just for cosmetics. It actually has a purpose. The armor that we wear that he's wearing right now is called the Ghost Armor. It's an armor that you get later on in the game. It's at the end of Act 2 for the new game. But since it's New Game Plus, you get all your armor, all your charms, everything. The best thing about this armor is that it has a fear mechanic built into it. And every time you kill an enemy, the nearest enemy has a small percentage chance of being feared. Um, we also have charms that help with that. We have charms that boost percentage chance probabilities. And then we have charms that are going to make the game very, shall we say, explosive later on, because the certain types of things that we do adds to that fear counter, and that makes battles later so much easier, so much more manageable, especially on this lethal plus, where every attack is almost certain death. Um, so this is where Sensei Ishikawa gets you the bow, and you're supposed to learn how to use it. We know how to use it. Ash knows how to use it. He's going to hit these 3 targets, one shot, no problem. You cannot hit the target until the icon it appears above it, so that's why he just kind of waited a little bit. You may wonder, well, if he's trying to go fast, why didn't he hit him right away? Because you can't.
It's basically until the icon is there, these lanterns have no hitbox whatsoever, so you can't even hit them.
So now that we know how to use a bow, we are going to go to Fort Nakayama. Fort Nakayama is where Sensei Ishikawa thinks that his student may be being held. So I always found Sensei Ishikawa to be kind of I want to say almost a black sheep of the samurai world, I guess you could say, because he's an archer. His ideas and his things that he talks about here are like ambushes and a whole bunch of things that you hit enemies before they know you're there, which Jin keeps getting told you hit them head on. So I always find the Sensei Ishikawa missions to be kind of counter samurai intuitive. But he still gives you crap if you try to be a sneaky ninja type. So what we're doing right here
But I
is
think at
Ash
least
is
he's a little bit more open to the idea than everybody else is.
yeah, absolutely. So Ash was surveying the battlefield. When he's surveying the battlefield, some of these areas you have to survey all of them. Other ones later we'll get to skip over. But basically, this is your tutorial idea of things that you can shoot with an arrow to make things happen. Obviously, if it's marked in red, it's going to explode because it's a video game. And then other things catch things on fire. Hornet's nest cause people to get stung and distracted. It's quite nice. So Ash went around real quick right there, picked up all the arrows in the area. We want to see more than one fire arrow and more than one explosive arrow, but unfortunately that didn't happen. So that does mean he's going to probably have to do a shopping trip, um, which again is why we do that fast travel from earlier. So Ash waits until the perfect time. The enemies are right in range. He shoots the red barrels, blows them up, shoots the burning, shoots the bees. He just knows where to shoot everything. The next group of enemies comes out the right side gate. If he does this correctly and lines this all up, he kills a majority of those. The fire causes others to run away in fear. And as long as he sees it pops up, the little check mark for the ambush, then he knows he did it right. A general comes out through that doorway right there. If he hits the exploding barrels, he kills the general. He kills other people. He does all sorts of things that just it helps the enemies to not ambush him crazy. But this general is giving him some troubles. There's some enemies that are up there. The archers up there. If you do it right with them, you can kill them. There's an archer up in the tower that if you kill him with fire, you can sometimes cause more fear. But these battles can be very RNG heavy. So
And
that
that
was
ties
actually a very good battle.
that basically ties back to what Wicked said earlier about this chance to fear enemies. Like the armor that I have has a 40% chance that whenever I kill an enemy, another enemy will just flee the battle, and then he counts as killed as having left the battle, and I can move on. However, even with the charms that we have equipped that increase that chance, it's not more than a 90% chance, and a 90% chance still means that you have a 10% chance of error. And as you saw me do there, I was able to kill off quite a few archers on the rooftops, which didn't flee, and that basically cost me time. And that is like the one big RNG factor that I will have in every battle going forward. That some people just may not flee when I want them to flee, and I have to go around and chase them down and kill them.
Yeah, we want them to run, but they don't always do that. But again, it's Ash did a good job of recognizing where the enemies were, taking them out really quickly. So what we're looking at here now, basically we get inside, and if you notice, he did a little quit out and save and reload the checkpoint. That just got Ishikawa down closer, faster. So Tomoe wasn't in the dead bodies. As we wandered around and inspected everything, we've realized that Tomoe seems to be free. She doesn't seem to be really being held captive. And this individual that we speak with here, unfortunately, we find out that Tomoe has been freed by the Mongols. She basically proved her skill as an archer. She's training the Mongols how to become better archers, and now she's killing her own people. So shame on her. Um, that poor guy, he says it's so cold, and we just kind of like, all right, see you later. We run off, collecting up some goodies. We got shopping we need to do, so we don't have time to sit here and listen to him. Run around, pick up supplies. We don't have money in this game. There is no currency, so the way that we buy things in this game is supplies, which pulls out. It really makes a lot of sense because in a wartime, and you're the person that's going to be protecting everybody, you're not necessarily going to go up to an armorer and be like, here's $50, I need that armor. They're going to be like, I don't have stuff to make it. So supplies, I like it. I think it's a good idea.
Yes. So
So with
Vika is
that,
actually the one who found out that the shopping trip that I'm gonna do here is actually not necessary if you have found enough explosive arrows and stuff like that. But since I haven't, and since this is a marathon, I will just do this little shopping trip here for a little bit of safety, get a few, ammunition and stuff like that. It costs a little bit of time, but interestingly enough, even though this will actually save time if you don't do it, because you don't have to go doing the shopping, I still have not got a gold split for, well, this split here, even though if I skip the shopping, so I don't know. It's strange.
I think it cheated. I think your gold split was a cheat. You started the timer after you already did shopping. I'm sure of it. Sure of it.
I don't know, man.
So Sensei Ishikawa has been recruited. We did the things. Yay! He's one of us now, so he will help us out. Now, the casual play of this game, each NPC that you recruit has their own story missions that you can do, as well as random NPCs give you story missions. Sensei Ishikawa's mission is tracking down Tomoe. We're not going to give away what happens with that and how that does, but his story gets you actually more progression for your bow and stuff like that. So it's really cool. So he's been recruited. Everything is good. Now we're on our way to recruit Lady Masako, the remaining head, I guess you could say, of the clan Masako, because her
Adachi.
husband was killed. Adachi, yes, thank you. Masako Adachi, thank you. Her husband, Lord Adachi, was killed in the battle at the beach, and so we want to recruit the Adachi warriors to help us. As you can tell, I haven't played this game in a while. I got Ishikawa wrong, and I got Adachi wrong. I know Kenji's coming up eventually,
Shame
and then
on
we've
you,
got
dude.
Ryuzo.
Shame on you.
Shame on me. I need
How
to get
can
back
you
into
not
running this
speedrun this?
game.
You definitely do, man. You gotta beat my record.
I do. I was getting
Beat the
close to it. I was catching up.
competition.
Hey,
Wow.
Charles is doing a lot of runs. I see him doing it. He's doing
He
really
actually
good.
did a marathon run just a little bit earlier.
Did he? Fantastic. Good
Yeah,
for him.
today.
So Charles is another runner. We'll take this ride to kind of talk about our community. So we are kind of a small community, and most of the people on our Discord actually focus on the Legends side of this. So this game does have a multiplayer mode. It is the Legends. There are storytellers that tell you different stories throughout this game. And so they incorporated that into a multiplayer. And they added more stories and really cool stuff. So a lot of our group actually focuses on that Legends, which is a multiplayer kind of a repeatable over and over again, and it's significantly faster. There's not too many people that run the story, but the story is really quite a bit
Like
of
the
fun.
multiplayer missions each take like, between 5 and 10 minutes. So it's definitely easier and faster to learn those things compared to, the 3.5 hours that we have to go through here.
And 3.5
So,
hours is nothing. When we first started this game, New Game Plus did not exist. And so a new game was 8 hours and there was no skipping cutscenes and you had to commit a day to it. I mean, that was a run for really long times. And we did it though. We did it. And there was quite a few of us that put in the hours for it. Ash was one of them. I did it. And then there was another individual named John that did quite a bit of running, most of the routing for Act 1. But then New Game Plus came along, and we kind of got rid of his routes.
let's maybe quickly talk a little bit. Wait, do you want to talk about donations or?
Oh, I just wanted to commend your dedication to that and also extend gratitude to devs who listen to communities like yours.
I mean, it's basically, let's talk quickly about the changes between New Game and New Game Plus. So as Wicked just said, a new game run of this game takes you about 7 to 8 hours when you do it, whereas a New Game Plus, as you can see by the estimate, only takes me about 3.5 hours. And that is because on New Game Plus, we completely skip all the prologue, all the tutorials, all the setup of the story.
The story.
And in a speedrun setting, that already saves about 42 minutes. So we are really grateful that we can just outright skip that because there is nothing out there in New Game Plus. And the second advantage is that we can actually skip all of the cutscenes. You cannot skip any cutscene if you do a speedrun from a fresh save file. You have to watch all of them every time. And that is another 2 hours and 10 minutes of cutscenes that you are watching during a speedrun every single time. And in the New Game Plus run, we get to skip all of them. And the third advantage is, of course, since this is a New Game Plus run, of course, we get to keep all of our armor, all of our upgrades and stuff like that. And that makes up for the other, 1.5 to 2 hours that this run is faster compared to a New Game speedrun of this game.
I will say I do enjoy that the devs have it that way because, in my opinion, I'm a story person. I've always loved RPGs. So a story is what I like about the game. And so I really like that the new game makes you watch the story, so you really feel the character and you understand the character and you know why you're doing what you're doing. But then when you do it 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 or 30 times, you already know why you're doing it and you just don't care and you just want to get through it fast. So the new game plus,
Yeah.
yay. So we got sidetracked. Let's go ahead and talk about the game again. So we get to the Adachi Estates and there's a lot of blood, a lot of dead people. What's going on? Come to find out, Clan Adachi was attacked the same night that the Mongols invaded. And this is Lady Masako. She is the only survivor of Clan Adachi. She buried everybody else, women and children alike. Nobody was spared. And so her mission is to figure out who and how and why. So the first thing that we do is we go to the Golden Temple and we speak to this monk, Sogen. And we basically say, hey, Lady Adachi says hello. And that sets up basically everything for her missions. Then we go and pick up some armor that she was having made for her son before the battle. Unfortunately, he didn't get to wear it. So guess what? You get to wear it. This is the first set of alternate armor that you're going to get, other than like the traveler attire and stuff like that. This is the first real armor that you get in the game. So this is a good mission to get to. No, we don't care. We want to scare people. We don't want to have armor. Scary is better.
Yeah, especially for the samurai armor that we just got, because it is a really defensive orientated armor. Like, it increases your health, it increases your, well, armor rating, if you want to call it that. But there is just like no offensive stats on it, and that is why we will never wear that in a speedrun setting, because you want to go fast, you want to deal damage and scare people and stuff like that. So
originally before we determined the better build, the terror build as we like to call it, we were going for damage plus and hit point plus, but we determined and we decided it was actually faster and easier to scare away enemies than it was to try to kill them all faster. And we learned that having this armor and this particular loadout, which is another cool thing that they added into the game after New Game Plus was introduced. It wasn't with the same patch, but it was a good thing. They added armor loadouts. And that allows us to actually attach specific charms to specific armor, so we can change armor really fast and not worry about having to change the armor, the charms.
Just to clarify, you were always able to attach charms to your armor. It's just that now they get actually saved to a specific armor, so you can have actual loadouts. So when you change your armor, you're also changing your charms with it.
Yes. So this is a mission where we have to follow Sogen. I don't know if you heard it or you saw it. Well, I like to talk a lot. We're supposed to be following Sogen right now. And as you can tell, we're doing a very, very good job of it. Once again, Ash knows exactly where Sogen's going, where he's going to be. And as long as he doesn't see you, it doesn't matter where you go, where you are. As long as you don't get too far away from him, he will continue down his path. If you do start getting too far away from him, something will pop up that says you're leaving the story, as you see it right there. And as long as we get back to the story before that time runs out, we're good. However, coming up here in just a second, Ash is going to be looking for these specific spot on the map where Sogen's going to run past. And as soon as he sees Sogen run past that spot, he knows for a fact that he can take off running and make it to the destination before the time runs out. And that Sogen's going to hit that next trigger point. If Sogen doesn't hit that trigger point, all this is for nothing. And that trigger point is a bunch of deers that go running across. So this is one of my favorite parts.
This little cutscene here with Sogen talking to the bandits, even though Sogen is nowhere near here.
Yeah, you're supposed to be, Sogen's there talking back and forth, and instead these bandits are just talking to themselves. It's quite fantastic. It's fun.
So wait, did this count as a tailing mission, or did you ambush him?
Good question. Good question.
Well, yeah, both. Yes, we're just gonna go with yes on this.
It was a trailing ambush, maybe.
Yes. So this fight can go one of two ways. Everyone can be scared off of 3 attacks, or nobody can be scared and you can get a nice little fight. These enemies come at you in 3 different waves. There's a start on the left, a start in the middle, and a start on the right. if we do it right with the explosion arrows, the fire arrows, and the attacks, we can get enough people scared in each of those groups. If we just need one or two, then we get to move on. And he actually got that, so that's good. So now he gets to go up and talk to Sogen. And
Find me when you're done.
this is where a nice cutscene would have been really fun. But poor Sogen, he didn't last through the conversation, unfortunately. He's sleepy. He was very tired, and so he decided to take a nap instead of talk to us.
Yeah, Granny talked him to sleep, basically.
Yes. She talked to him with her sword. I mean, yeah, she just lullabied him to sleep.
Find anything.
Onto her blade, kinda.
Yeah.
No.
So Lady
She didn't
Masako,
use a pillow. She used a katana.
that's right. Go to sleep. Good night. Lady Masako has a very emotional story because again, she's trying to track down her family's killers, and people like to get on Lady Masako's bad side, and she reacts very quickly and very rash. And Ash gave her a wonderful nickname because of that.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, she
Like,
does.
normally she is called Lady Masako. I just like to call her Lady Massacre because the sleeping on a katana blade thing happens quite often in her.
Yeah, it's just about every story, every mission that we have with her, she makes somebody fall asleep on her katana. It's not in a nice way either. It's not in a hey, we're just gonna attack each other kind of way. It's usually just a how dare you say that? Hiya!
You sleep now. Goodbye.
Sleeping powder. Pocket sand. Cha cha cha.
No, I don't think she has
Not
any
quite?
of that. No. She just, people talk mad shit about her and her family, and she just makes them go to sleep.
So this is
think
another
about
kind of
something sad.
kind of a long writing session. Do we have any donations to read off?
So
If not, I'll keep talking.
no, by all means, what I'd love to tell you about is Imerman Angels, the group we are raising money for. When you are making donations, as we have been all weekend, we're currently at a little over $6,200. I did the math as I was coming on board to host this evening my time, and we are thanking 203 different donations, including from some people who have been so kind as to donate multiple times. When you are making those donations, this is the difference you're making in the world. Every donation counts. Every donation gets a cancer fighter one step closer to being matched with a mentor angel like them who has survived their exact cancer diagnosis and is ready to guide and encourage them along the way. This amazing community has already crushed 2 huge donation goals, our initial of $2,500 and our second goal of double that at $5,000. Are we ready to break another record? I believe we can do it with your help.
Like I said, guys, if we reach the $7,500 goal during this run, I will tell you the real story of the real Port Izumi Tea Party. So, get it donating. Like, if everybody in here just donate like $5 or something, we should be able to reach that goal. So, $5 donation train hype?
Maybe.
Maybe.
So I'll give a big shout out to the organizers, to the staff, to everybody that's involved in it, and I'll do another little shout out later. But you guys are awesome. There's a lot of marathons that go around. There's a lot of people that try to do good, and anytime that you guys can put together a marathon for charity is just great. And so definitely appreciate that. Appreciate you letting us be on here and have some fun. So we did Lady Masako. I told you before Sensei Ishikawa that we plan all our missions in a certain way so that way we don't have too much riding time. Well, this is the longest ride of Act 1, unfortunately, and it's immediately followed up by an auto-scroller. So yay for this part. This is the kind of snooze session of the Act 1, unfortunately. First thing Ash is going to do is, as you notice, he rode by that Sutsu bamboo strike. Again, another quick travel setting for later on. What we're doing right now is we are on our way to Kenji. We learned when we rescued that Straw Hat Ronin from the fort long ago, if you guys remember 25 minutes ago. I know I don't. When we rescued that Straw Hat Ronin, he said that her brother Taka may be in Azumo Bay. So Yuna went and found an old friend. That old friend is a sake dealer who is providing sake to the Mongols at the price of his head. I think that's a pretty good bargain. You get to keep your head, and you have to provide sake to people. I'm for that. So Yuna has basically devised this wonderful little plan of getting herself and you inside Osmo Bay via a sake delivery. And now we're going to be introduced to one of my favorite and most of the community's favorite character, Kenji. He's the comic
Hilarious.
relief. He's Jar Jar.
No. Don't you go ahead
I
and
did it
liken
again.
Kenji to Jar Jar. No.
I did it
Wicked.
again.
Bad. Take that back.
So I don't remember who it was. I think it's Ash that starts liking Star Wars characters to the
that's-
Ghost of Tsushima characters. And
Fits
so I
well.
said that Kenji is Jar Jar, and he says no. I think he is.
Funny little thing here, though. I am supposed to once again follow my allies here a certain distance. However, I can just skirt around the edge of where the game allows me to. And if I do that correctly, Kenji will be very insistent that a few people fought back.
How many people fought back? A few people.
He really wants you to hear that.
There is literally no gain or loss from this. Ash just enjoys doing it because he likes hearing Kenji say a few people fought back over and
It's
over.
fine. The thing
and
is,
over.
they are normally going to have a whole conversation between the three of them. However, it is only Kenji's voice lines that get repeated like that during this conversation. Like, if you get to a point where Yuna talks, her dialogue line just gets skipped over. And the next time they start a dialogue and it's Kenji's time and you skip that again, it will just be Kenji's voice line once more. It's like really funnily programmed. Also, this is the only break that we get during the whole run, so, take that opportunity to stretch. And I'll get all the soreness out of your muscles. We've been playing for half an hour already. We have 3 more ahead of us, so...
Absolutely. Stretch, hydrate. Would now be a good time to talk about some incentives.
Sure, go ahead.
Absolutely.
All right. I'd be happy to. See, the next run we have incentives for is Pokemon Omega Ruby. We've got names for a number of Pokemon. Currently leading with Mudkip will be named Latias with a donation total of $50. Latios will be named Latias with a donation total of $50. Rayquaza is looking like Viper is leading with a donation total of $20. And Groudon has not yet been named. So if you would like to change any of those results, if you have a name that is near and dear to your heart, your name, the name of a loved one, anything that comes to mind, you are more than welcome and encouraged to donate at the link in the chat for your favorite option.
I can't believe this worked.
My money's on Latios. Let's name them all Latios. There's
So up
other
here-
marathons that you could have a Jeff marathon. Why can't we have a Latios marathon?
Good question. But up here comes a very trolly slave trader. Like, if you do this wrong, you can lose like a good 30 seconds or more. So what we are supposed to do here is quickly get on top of this rooftop. And I have to kinda quickly survey this slave trader before he kneels down by the first slave and examines it. And if that doesn't work... I think I messed it up. So I gotta wait now for him to get up and go down to the second slave. Just so. Because the thing is, if you examine this guy at the wrong point in time, he will just endlessly cycle between these slaves. So let's see if this guy behaves. And continues on his path, and he does. Okay, that is good. It was a little bit of a time loss
Hooray.
because I jumped instead of hitting the survey button there at the beginning, but that is still better than him just endlessly cycling between these 3 slaves there. Because then he would
Yeah,
have to reload the checkpoint, and that loses even more time.
Yeah. It took us a while to figure out what exactly was the trigger for that. Lots of tests, lots of trying to figure out what is it that he needs to do. And we realized that it was what he starts investigating for the slave. If you can get there right as he's doing that, great. But if he's already started it, then no go. So again, this is auto-scroller. This is a spy mission because, like in standard video games, enemies don't have vision anywhere other than directly in front of them. So we can run around on the roofs, we can make noise, we can do all sorts of things that we want to, as long as we're not standing directly in front of his face. So we are going to follow this slaver through Osmo Bay, find out just how cruel he really is. And then we're going to get to a market where we're going to see the return of our favorite Tumbleweed Samurai. Good times. He's been missing for a little while.
Another thing is you really have to applaud the QA testing staff at Sucker Punch for doing such an amazing job, weeding out all the bugs and glitches in the game, because there are basically just about none of them left. Which, on the other hand, makes us really angry as speedrunners, because there's just not a lot we can do to break the game, or at least we haven't found a lot of stuff, except, the Tumbleweed Samurai and a few other things. But yeah, the QA team did a really fucking amazing job. Congratulations, guys. Congratulations.
Yeah, if Tumbleweed Samurai ever gets eliminated, I don't know if I want to play this game anymore. I'm done. I'm just done. We have other builds, other loadouts that you can do for basically stealth perks and whatnot. They're just not as effective as Tumbleweed Samurai. Tumbleweed Samurai is the greatest. So
I'm not gonna lie, I did a playthrough of this game, like a challenge run, where I wasn't allowed to get any of the techniques, including the roll upgrades. So I wasn't able to roll. I had to do all these stealth sections as intended. And I just had no idea anymore how to actually do them without just rolling through them. It was a really interesting experience.
Yeah, it's amazing how you get trained to the speedrun techniques of things and you forget how to casual a game sometimes. Sometimes.
Sure.
So we are learning now that this slaver is having a conversation with another individual, and he says that Taka, he's a terrible blacksmith. He's sabotaging you. I'm a better blacksmith. Keep me alive. And for some reason, the slaver, without question, says, okay, I'm going to go kill Taka now. And just be ready to prove yourself. So we are going to have to follow him through the marketplace. And by follow him through the marketplace, I mean beat him across the marketplace. Wait until it triggers that shows that we got across the marketplace. Do a quick reset, and then boom. Now we followed him completely across the marketplace. See how easy that was, kids? So now we're going to follow the slaver to Taka. We are finally, after all this time, 37 minutes later, we are rescuing Yuna's brother. Not too long of a time being held, 30, 35 minutes. Not too bad. Not too bad. He's already tired, though. He's already very tired. They must have worked him really hard.
No stamina.
None.
That's where we break out.
So that cutscene there, the big guy was about ready to take out the little guy. Sad day. Yuna comes up, stabs big guy in the throat. Yay! Your family gets to live on. They find the slaver. You've got to escape, so you climb up these barrels, these packages, and you get your way out. And this is where we've also learned, because this is kind of a long running sequence. We've learned that your stamina runs out. You'll start seeing Jin kind of slow down. His shoulders will drop. His head will drop a little bit. We learned that you can refill your stamina by doing a quick little stutter jump or a roll. So instead of having to slow down and walk for a long section while you get your stamina back up, just do a quick little stutter jump off to the side, to the front, do a roll. Whatever you got to do, stamina comes right back. Who knew? You don't have to exercise. You don't have to work out. All you got to do is a little stutter jump, and boom, stamina refill.
Try it in real life. It will probably not work, but try it anyway.
My gym teacher never told me that one.
Yeah, if it works right, I foresee gamers winning a lot of marathons in the near future.
Indeed.
Probably.
How was he so fast? Well, he did that little stutter step halfway through, and all of a sudden he had full stamina again. He ate a cheeseburger, his hit points went up again.
And just like in real life, your stamina bar is actually invisible, so you can't see, how far down you are on that. You just have to actually watch Jin's movement. If he is dropping his head, just do a quick tap on the circle button, and you're good to go again. Also coming up is one of these walkie-talkie sections, where all your movement is slowed down, so your characters can have a little conversation between themselves. However, your jumping speed is still unaffected by that. So what you can do is just dismount and then just jump around like a monkey and still go pretty fast comparatively.
I can help with one.
Absolutely. So the conversation is scheduled to get to certain trigger points and then give the next line of dialogue. But because we can do this pogo stick samurai thing, So that's your 2 techniques to be a great samurai: tumbleweed and pogo stick. Since we can do the pogo stick samurai, we can get to the trigger points much faster.
Can you imagine if Jim would just take out his sword and really do a pogo stick motion with that?
I could see it like in DuckTales. You know how
Yeah,
Scrooge
exactly,
bounces off of his cane?
Like a pogo katana jump.
I could see that. We should talk to the devs and see if we can make that happen.
Yeah, that would be fun.
He just bounces off of people's heads instead of impaling them. Why not? Why not? So
Whatever
we've recruited Taka. We've got the blacksmith now. So the next thing and the last individuals to recruit is the Straw Hat Ronin, and we are going to be introduced to our good friend Ryuzo, who is just the finest character you will meet in this game. He is what everybody should be. So one thing that Ash is going to do as he goes through here, or at least I hope he does, he's going to try to make sure that he rides by a couple purple flowers, and he's going to pick those up because those purple flowers are poison darts. And when you use the poison darts in Act 2 after a certain mission, you get a little cutscene once again. How dare you not be a noble samurai? So we'd never used the poison darts until another member of the community told us that, hey, did you know that until you get to that certain mission, the game doesn't register you as having poison darts? So it's not bad to use them. So we learned that we can use poison darts in Act 1. And just like the terror mechanic, if you hit somebody like a general that you're supposed to be fighting with a poison dart, he's no longer in the fight. It's quite fantastic. Saves a few seconds in a few different spots. And again, we can only use this in Act 1 because once we get to a certain part in Act 2, we can't do it anymore.
Yeah, we actually have been searching for a place that we could use the blowgun for quite a while, and it's actually pretty slow to use, so we just didn't find a lot of places to it for actually to be useful. And until somebody pointed out that you don't get that cutscene until a certain point, so try it out there.
And I tried it on a couple guys to find out if it would work. We tried it on a couple enemies earlier or later in the game to say, hey, do this one person, and that portion of the area is done, and it worked out so great. So here we have a quick little standoff. This fight is another one that can go one of 2 ways. Either everyone can group together and it can be a quick terror kill, or they can spread out and it doesn't work so well. So what we like to do is we like to shoot the beehive and throw a bomb up there. But unfortunately, Jin got hit, so he had to kind of recover. Was able to get a decent recovery off of that and take out the bad guys. But Ryuzo, he took a minute to kill his guy too. So now that everyone's dead, yay, we get to have our conversation. A little bit of a reunion with our childhood friend. Hooray!
All in all, it was actually a pretty good fight. Like, I was a little bit nervous.
That was a good recovery.
When I got hit and couldn't fire my arrow at the hornet's nest, but since I had to delay that a little bit, I actually hit all of them with the explosive arrow and with the hornet's nest, killing all of them instantly. That was pretty nice, actually.
It was really good. So this is Ryuzo. Like I said, probably the finest individual you will see in this entire game. He is now the new leader of the Straw Hat Ronin. Spoilers! Spoilers! And his whole thing is that he is now the leader of the Straw Hat Ronin, and his men are starving. So we need to bring them food. And just like any poor protagonist in a game, everything has to go wrong at every step. So anywhere he goes to get more food, it doesn't work out too well. You do more missions for Ryuzo than you do any other NPC in this game, which is really kind of sad.
He's a very needy personality.
He is. So let me tell you about Ryuzo. So Ryuzo is bitter. He's very bitter. He's upset because 2 summers ago, there was a tournament where Lord Sakai, was a fighter in this tournament, and Ryuzo, was also a fighter in the tournament. And you'll find out later on that he invited all these people to come watch him fight, and you just wiped the floor with him. And so now he holds a grudge, basically, against you for that, because that prevented him from being a samurai. But his whole story falls apart when you think about the fact that he asks you to do literally everything for him. So he's mad at you because he couldn't become a samurai because you let him down, and then he asked you to do everything for him, so he would have been a terrible samurai anyways. He's a bad person. Bad person. I started to get mad there. I'm sorry.
We kind of heard that, yeah. I think you brought that across very well.
And if you think about it, it's almost like he asked you to lose in the first place, which would have been just getting off on the wrong foot.
Yep.
Now, have you played this game, Comms?
I have actually only played the first few hours of the game. I've been excited to watch this one to kind of get my zeal to get back into the game and really give it a go on my PS5.
It's a wonderful game, dude. Start speedrunning it. We can help you. We have a Discord and everything. You know, go to.
I heard that.
Yeah,
It's a small
absolutely.
community.
Oh, and on the speedrun.com, just so you know that we love our community, the picture that we have on speedrun.com is submitted by the community. We had a contest for a little while, and we said, we want to see your best pictures, and the best picture voted by the community, not by us, voted by the community, would become the picture for the leaderboard. And the picture that was chosen, wow, it's a masterpiece. Fantastic.
It really is.
So we do enjoy our community, and we like to talk to everybody and just be, super friendly. But yeah, he does. He gets all sorts of upset about it. He's like, you came at me like I was your mortal enemy. And Jen apologized. He's like, but it was a competition. So you fought just as hard. And yeah, Ryuzo I have words for what Ryuzo is, but they're not marathon friendly. So we're just gonna go with that.
Yeah.
So we have we've talked to him and we said, hey, we need you to help rescue our uncle. And he says, my men are hungry. We heard that as we were riding along, that cart that we went and investigated, the individual that was there said that they stole his food and took it to the lighthouse. So now we're going to go to the lighthouse and we are going to try to get food for him. So he says, get food for us and we'll think about joining you. And that's what Ryuzo always says. We'll think about it. Think about it. Because Ryuzo he's a silly individual. So here we are right into a cemetery where they have been scouting this lighthouse out. We're going to talk to Ryuzo and he's going to say, I know there's lots of people up there, so we need to go
just a little
sneak
bit
in.
of a continuity error. Like, I was definitely the first person to leave that camp. How the hell were they here before me?
And scouted.
What the hell, dude.
Come on.
We got here first. We scouted everything. We know all about these people. Really? How? Magic. So
Ryuzo is just so bitter that he doesn't tell you the shortcut of how to get here.
he doesn't tell you that he teleports, for God's sakes. He's not a nice person.
That's not funny.
And later on, you're gonna see that he gets kind of worked by a big dude, and you come in and once again save him. But still, though, you're the bad guy for beating him in this tournament. Shame on you. Yeah, for Ryuzo. We're gonna not talk about Ryuzo anymore. So this is supposed to be a sneak-in area. As you notice, Ash sneaks right up in there, doing our favorite little Tumbleweed Samurai thing right through the front door, because why not? I always found this mission to be, again, kind of silly, because the idea is you get to the top of the lighthouse and you deactivate their signal cannons, which are basically fireworks. But then to signal your people, you light the lighthouse. So I don't see how it's like, all right, so they're not going to shoot off fireworks, but we lit the lighthouse. That's fine. We're good. Do they need help? Nah.
It's a different kind of fire, man. You know.
The lighthouse is lit. They must be worried about ship.
You gotta follow protocol, okay?
Right. No fireworks, no help, man. So this is another big fight. We're going to throw bombs. We're going to use arrows if we have to. A lot of really grouped up enemies. So this is another one that, just like said before, it can go a lot of ways. It can be either really good or really bad. It just depends on how many of them get scared.
Amazing fight.
That was probably the best fight I've seen.
If I hadn't gone
Better
for
than
that
anyone's
second black powder bomb pickup, which I actually didn't need to do because I would get enough on the boat, so that was actually completely useless of me to do that. But I kind of forgot I was nervous. Could have been even faster.
That was that was the best lighthouse fight I've seen. So this is another survey the area. You find a little ship. You got to get past all these Mongols. How are we going to get past the Mongols? Well, Again, we see a red barrel, so clearly it must explode. So let's shoot arrows at the explodey barrel, and then we'll use that opportunity to run into the camp, because why not? And we're gonna see our favorite little Tumbleweed Samurai, but then we learned there was another strategy that we could use. If you have managed to pick up a smoke bomb between some point in time and now, instead of trying to do Tumbleweed Samurai all the way to the boat, we actually learned that the smoke bomb will take you out of combat immediately for the duration of the explosion of the smoke bomb. And we used that later on. We knew about it later, but we didn't realize we could use it here. So instead of trying to roll and be sneaky and everything, no, we're just going to run right on up to the boat, drop a smoke bomb, and there you go. Look at that. We snuck onto the boat. Again, please don't take that out, devs. We need this. We need these shortcuts.
And we will actually use smoke bombs at a few places later on where it saves even more time to use them.
That's one of my favorite cutscenes right there that you get to skip. It's literally just a black screen of the sound of rowing, but you get to skip it. So yay! Even if it was
you
faster
wouldn't
to
even
watch
know
it.
it is a cutscene because it's literally just a black screen where you don't see anything, but you can skip it because it is a cutscene.
Any sign of food?
So this is a quick little resource pickup. Again, you're talking to Ryuzo, talking about the tournament, yada yada. We need food, all that nonsense. Basically, story. This is the only guy whose story I don't care about, but I've already said that. So we're gonna clear the boat off, and we're gonna use our best friend in the world, the as Ash likes to call it. I'm sorry, Ash. I'm gonna take it because you haven't said it yet. This is the Michael Bay strategy. Ghost of Tsushima, the Michael Bay story. I heard they are doing a Netflix series or a Netflix movie, or somebody is making a movie about this game.
They're doing a full feature film of the game now.
Yeah, and so if they don't have it hosted by Michael Bay, they are not, or directed by Michael Bay, they're not doing it. It's Speedrun's just service. Maybe there'll be the director's cut, and then there'll be like the Michael Bay cut that literally just has explosions
we're getting a
everywhere.
Michael Bay cut, you know, instead of a Snyder cut, we got a Bay cut.
There you go, the Bay cut.
And the director's cut, I mean, that's basically just a one-to-one map to this speedrun, right? 3.5 hours? That seems about right.
There you go. That's the Michael Bay cut. You may not understand what's going on, but there's going to be a lot of explosions. And Ryuzo's going to cry a lot. But that's it. That would be how I would direct the story. I would literally just have Ryuzo crying every once in a while. Because that's Ryuzo.
Like for 2 hours, just straight crying, nothing else. You see Ryuzo on every scene, somewhere in the corner crying.
So at a couple parts where he's not even part of it, it's just like a translucent like kind of image in the side corner of him just crying, like anime style, big tears coming out.
You know, he's basically the cabbage guy from Avatar.
Well, there you go. So that was the first instance where we used the blowgun. Again, Ryuzo's getting his butt kicked, and you have to ride in on your white horse and save the day. Use the blowgun to take out that brute real fast, so you didn't actually have to fight him. That's one of like 2 spots we'll use it earlier on. So once again, everything has to go wrong for Ryuzo. So all the food that we found, well, it got destroyed. You didn't see it during that cutscene because cutscenes. And basically what happened was, as you saw just there, the ship was on fire because another ship came in and just started lobbing arrows of death upon us. And we barely escaped with our lives, but no food. So Ryuzo, once again, he's mad because he's going back to his people empty-handed.
Quite
whatever.
They have the war plans now. And these war plans show the supply lines of the Mongols. So their grand plan now is to go ahead and raid the Mongol supply lines to try and get food from there. But a little bit later on, we will find out how that goes down.
Yeah, so now we are at Komatsu Forge. Komatsu Forge is an area that you learn about right after you rescue Taka. This is the best forge on the island. So clearly we have to control this forge. When we get here, obviously it's under Mongol control, so we've got to clear out the Mongols. Real quick fight. Ash is going to show us just how easy it is, I'm sure. But then this becomes a mission of literally if you'd have just stayed put like I told you to, we'd have been done by now. But instead, no, you've got to go all over the place for picking up people that you don't have to. It hurts. It's upsetting. It's upsetting. This game, logic of people in this game, man, I tell you.
Would it help if we read a couple of donations?
Sure, go ahead.
I think that would make me super happy. Yes.
All right. We have
Is that you?
$5 from Aqua710 who says, choo choo. Clearly a reference to Ash's earlier recommendation of everyone putting in
Yes.
$5. And
Give
we
us
have
the
a
train.
$5 from at Eat Tree, a Tree. Oh, a Tea Tree. We have $5 from a Tea Tree who says, choo choo. Put this towards the defeat them ending.
I've had some practice.
Can you get more arrows?
Thank you guys for the for jumping on board the choo-choo train. We got plenty of run left, so there's plenty of time to get onto that train. So Yuna was out here searching for villagers. She finds the villager, and the villager's kind of hiding over here in this building. We're gonna talk to her, tell her we're gonna take her to the forge, and that's where we're gonna start on the next fetch quest. This is a fetch quest, but it's for people instead of items. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
I mean, people are kind of like items, isn't it?
Well, in this game, they are. They're items.
You
People are
can
items.
stuff
Can
them-
confirm.
You can stuff them in a case or in a container or something.
Right.
Ship
They
them
serve a
around.
purpose, and that's it. They are not here for anything other than to serve a specific purpose, and then you move on with life. So we talked to Taka, and we said, all right, Taka, we're going to get you the forge. Can you make something? He says, well, not without my #1 apprentice. I have to have this #1 apprentice, or else I cannot help you. So we've got to go find the apprentice. So we come running into this house here. We find the apprentice, and he tells us, well,
Yukio?
I'd love to help you, but my wife. We have to find my wife. So again, we have to go searching
Stay
for
close.
somebody and
Follow
pick
my
them up.
orders.
So there's that.
So basically, this is
we-
Pokemon Tsushima edition. You know, you gotta
Hide.
catch them all or something.
villagers, gotta get them all. So
Don't look at
we
it.
do a quick little sneak up on this guy, an assassination, and then there's a group of individuals chasing after a few people. And if we do it right with a good little sneak attack and explodey arrow, it just makes the world better. Everyone grouped together with an explosion just
You
makes
can't
this
sense me.
game so exciting. Again, Michael Bay would be proud. So we've
Also,
rescued
maybe
the wife.
just to reiterate why we are so why we want to light people on fire is, you know, we've talked about this terror effect that we have when we kill enemies, but we also have charms equipped that make it so when enemies catch on fire, they themselves have another chance to make other enemies flee in terror once again. So that is why we are really, you know, we really like the idea of setting people ablaze in this game.
I'm sure that it's a good thing the Geneva Convention has not been created yet. Several war crimes taking place here, but if it's for the good of Tsushima, then you do what you got to do.
It's not only good for Tsushima, it's also good for the speedrun, you know.
That's true. That's true. But what is good for the speedrun is what is good for Tsushima, or vice versa. Maybe it's what's good for Tsushima is what's good for the
It's good
speedrun.
both. Good for both.
The Mongols are here. Where's Yuna?
Also,
The
a Mongol
important people
barbecue.
live.
You know.
Oh yes, yes. So
Mongols are known
now
for
that
the
we've
barbecue, right?
rescued Yukio the apprentice,
And his
Taka
wife.
says, well, my sister, she went out to go save some people. So once again, here we go to go save somebody else because that's what we do.
And there's
Fetch
Yuna.
quest.
She wants to talk to us. We don't want to talk to her because she ran away. So we're not going to.
We're mad at her. She wants to tell us about the people over here. We're just like, shut up. We'll take care of this. Just stay there hiding in the bushes. Whatever. We got this. That's how I feel this game is sometimes. It's like, shut up and just let me handle it. And it's kind of how it is.
It is for sure.
They've gone. Please, let us go.
So we come through this area. We assassinate who we can. It terrifies who we can. And as long as we kill everybody, then the little hostages there, they're happy. They're rescued, and then once again we take them back to the forge, so we can do what we originally came here to do.
Everyone stay close to me.
So the whole idea of this forge, why we're gathering everyone together, why this is the greatest forge in the island, is because it just is. So we have to defend it, right? So instead of going out and finding the Mongols, Jin has this great idea of let's light the forge and tell the Mongols we're here, and then we will have a final standoff here because obviously they're only going to send 10 people and they'll never attack it again. So let's do this and life will be good for you guys forever. So that's what we're doing now. We get everybody together, we light the forge, we get attacked, and this is another one of those battles that can go really, really well or really wrong.
Like the forge.
Ash has done this battle a lot, so he knows the angles that all of the groups of enemies come from, so he tends to cut them off before they get too far. And he should be able to make good, quick work of this one, hopefully. No
because the
commentators
enemies are actually set in place for this fight. In stark contrast to some of the other battles, you actually can know where all of the enemies will come from. So this is kind of nice. So we just wait for these two guys to come down here, light our sword on fire, and then just go ahead and murder them, make the other guy run away. Then we have to go into the forge once we have dealt with these fucking... Oh, where did you come from? Okay, he was a little bit early because I got bitten by the dogs. Which normally shouldn't happen, so now I have to go inside.
Well,
Take care of this
I was
guy.
going to ask if we could pet the dog, but I think we
No,
might have missed
So
out
you
on
can.
that.
So you actually can pet the dogs. It's fantastic. In New Game Plus, there's an enemy or an NPC that you can talk to where you can buy a charm where if you sneak up on a dog, you can pet him and you recruit him and they attack people for you. We don't get to do that in the game, in the speed run.
But I needed to hear that. Thank you.
Yes, yes. You can actually recruit the Bork-Borks. So it's quite fantastic.
Now let me go on record to say that I love dogs. You know, I have 2 dogs of my own. However, these little shitty Mongolian ankle biters can go and rot in hell for all I care.
You're definitely lighting a fire for them to do that. That's for sure. This is the other instance where we use the blowgun. We got to make sure that we hit the commander in his chest and not in his shield because he will block it. And if you hit his shield, it doesn't work. But that ends that sequence immediately. And when you do the blowgun on him, it scares away the people that come with him. So yay! So now the forge is ours. Hooray! We need to go basically talk to Taka to get this great invention that he's came up with, which will help us to scale the walls of Castle Canada. Canada? Okay. Canada. I always call it Castle Canada, and Ash just hates me for it. I'm like, look, it's the castle to the north. I'm in America, so Canada's to the north. It's Castle Canada. That's just what it is, okay?
Let's see how it's coming.
Oh, Tsushima, our home. Wait,
go.
that's not right.
That's not it. It can be though. It can be. So we need to get this amazing item to help us scale the walls of Castle Canada.
A little funny story, like a lot of the voice actors of this game, I mean, they're obviously, Asian American to be precise.
That's why I hired
And they actually had a Japanese natural speaker on set to tell them how to properly pronounce all the names and locations and stuff like that. And a lot of them initially called it Castle Canada as well.
Yes!
My lord.
Wicked for the win!
Yeah.
Listen, if the voice actors call it Canada, it's Canada, okay?
No, it's
It's
Canada.
canon.
No, it's also not Tsushima, it's Tsushima. The emphasis,
Yes.
the emphasis on the two, not on the she.
That's right. I had
Get it
someone
right,
earlier.
people.
I had someone earlier call it sushimi. I'm like, no, we're not playing Shadows of a Dead Fish. We're moving on. So we get this iron hook.
Tasty,
This whole thing was to get us an iron hook. Clearly, we needed the best forge, the best blacksmith, and his best apprentice, so he could get us an iron hook. And once again, here's Ryuzo. I need your help. I need your help.
How were your men captured? Remember that
The supply line information that we gave him
Mongol supply lines.
basically got him into a little bit of trouble because they tried to ambush some Mongols and ended up getting basically everyone got taken captive except for him and a few people. So he comes running to Jin, the guy who ruined his life, to once again save his life because he's Ryuzo. And I always make a comment about how you get the iron hook in this mission, and you use the iron hook in this mission more than you do in the mission that you get the iron hook for.
We never talked about
Well, that's just life for you, you know. You just gotta
It's the
deal with it.
tutorial mission.
Yeah, just gotta deal with it.
This is the iron hook tutorial mission, and I love the iron hook in this game. It's great, but when I think about the logistics of it, it makes absolutely no sense, because he's got this iron hook, and there's a couple spots where he's literally leaping from tree to tree with this hook. And so it's like, wait a minute, how did he have the hook? And he threw it around the tree, and then he threw it around another tree.
Look, he's just
I don't understand
bad good with it, okay? You know, he is the ghost.
It's-
He can do
he
shit
is-
like that.
He's the ghost. He's basically the god. He could just fly through it. Oh,
He's the
Amazing.
ghost god of Tsushima.
there you go.
Yeah.
Go.
I wish you told me this.
He's got to be the ghost god, though. He can't be the god ghost, because that's just weird.
Someone in Komatsu calls you a ghost.
So
Okay.
this is the part where Ryuzo tells us all about how we ruined his life, and he had all these people there to recruit him, but because he lost, he had to join the Straw Hat Ronin because they needed a sword, and why not? So this is where you're supposed to feel bad for Ryuzo, but I don't. And they
He's a
actually did a
needy
really
guy.
good job of making Ryuzo hateable in this game, in my opinion. He's like that whiny little kid that just thinks the world owes him something and then just complains when he doesn't get it. That's Ryuzo.
They left,
For sure.
and they're not coming back.
Cowards.
But hey, you know, he's just hungry. You know, if just somebody would give him a Snickers, everything would probably be all right.
There you go. He might turn into Betty White. Listen, Ryuzo, you need to calm down. You're not you when you're hungry.
Exactly.
It'll be dark.
So the few people that you saw there, that's the remaining group of the Straw Hat Ronin. Look at that. 4 people in Ryuzo. So with those 4 people in Ryuzo, we are going to go storm Fort Yatate, because why not? We have to wait for Ryuzo to start riding. He has to very, very emotionally tell his Straw Hat people to ride. And then we basically get close to Fort Yatate, and we start talking about what's the plan. How are we going to get in there, Ryuzo? And Ryuzo's like, my plan? You're the one that got us on the boat, dude. You're the smart one here. So, again,
You're the one who got us onto that
these are my men, but I need you to tell me how to make it better, and then how dare you make me look bad. So we devised this plan to use this wonderful iron hook that we got to go over the walls. And Ryuzo says, he's like, how are you going to get over the walls? Are you part monkey?
How?
And that is where Wicked now wears a monkey
I have someone to
mask
help
when
me.
he wears the
I'll
Ronin
free your man.
attire. Because, well, why not?
Once they're with me, I'll set off one of the alarms. That's your
So that is something you get to actually change up in this game. You get to change your mask as well as the outfit. The masks don't change
I'll find a way up the cliff
any
on
of
this
your
side.
stats. So every once in a while, I'll put a weird mask on. I'll put a basket on my head just for fun. And maybe if I ever get invited to do a marathon myself, I'll have a basket percent. Like make it a donation incentive where I wear a basket on my head.
Do you want your own category?
Yes, I want basket
Basket
percent.
percent? Oh, God.
We'll put that right up there with photo percent too.
Oh, God. Random word percent. You will make
There you go.
Allie very angry.
Yes, let's do it. She's been doing a really good job of verifying runs lately, and I have been slacking really, really bad. I'm a terrible person. Life has been getting the best of me.
Oh.
So here we're using the iron hook. Fortunately, the iron hook can be used on any tree branch or stump that has these wraps around them. No telling where these wraps come from, but it's very, very helpful for somebody to go around and wrap these trees with very recognizable cloth, so we know that, hey, we can throw our iron hook here. These don't exist before you get the iron hook, so Ash has a conspiracy theory on that I think is very accurate. I think it's accurate.
I mean, where did they come from? Why is it red? Why is it white? Does that tell us anything?
Gotta be.
Is it mustard?
So here's what I'm thinking, if I can interject for a second. If you've ever played any of the recent Tomb Raider games, they work almost the same way as far as using her swinging abilities. So maybe there's a distant ancestor. I know she's from England, but this is set in what, the 13th century?
It's not that
11th
far
century.
back.
Ah,
No, this is 11th century. This is, I think, like 1070, if I'm not mistaken.
What am I confusing it with then?
Let me look. Let me look. I used to have this. In fact, I did like this whole rundown of what it was because I was super into this game when it first came out. So I did like a, hey, what is the actual history behind this? Because it is, like I said, an actual event. The Mongol invasion took place in 1274. Sorry, not 1074, 1274. So yeah, there's that. So yeah, not it's possible. It could be a distance. I think it's time travel. It's got to be. Got to be. So something happens a little bit later on, and that is the individual that Ash thinks is the one who did it. And so I think that person's spirit is guiding us through the game. Because why not? Why not? So once again, we get to Fort Yatate. The idea here is we need to rescue the men that are trapped in the cages. Ash is showing us the slower method to do this instead of the speedrun method. He's trying to give you guys a better example of how you're supposed to do this casually. And so basically the idea here is you have to take out these individuals at the top tier. That guy came out of the tent in a spear lunge. That was actually rather intense and impressive. Sorry, Ash, that looked really cool.
Yeah, he was trying to ambush me, the goddamn dude.
So after we clear out all the enemies in the top part, we have to clear out the bottom part because Ryuzo and his 4 men are going to come charging in. And there is a lot of bad guys here, and you're going to see the effectiveness of Explodey, the largest crowd that we can take out with a single bomb. That's it. That's all that fight takes. One well-placed bomb, and all the Mongols, except for maybe a straggler here and there, are defeated. So Ryuzo didn't have to do anything.
Also, guys, social distancing. You know, if those Mongols just kept a little bit apart from each other, you know, not as many would have died. It's just survival.
There you go. Words to live by. Don't stand so close and you won't die. I don't know how that echoes today's world. It could. Totally could. So,
speaking of connections, do we have a minute to talk a little bit more about Imerman Angels and their mission?
Yes, in just a second here. So
Absolutely.
now that we've rescued the Straw Hat Ronin, we've recruited everybody that we're ready to recruit. Now we need to go ahead and plan our assault on Castle Canada. And so this is Canada. And so this has a little bit of a auto scroll part as well because we have to wait for Yuna to get to a certain trigger point. So absolutely good timing. Go ahead and discuss what you need to discuss.
Alrighty. Yeah, as Ash was mentioning earlier, he was talking about the idea of having a guardian angel, and cancer is an isolating experience, and especially with the pandemic, that journey has become to the point of being almost unimaginable. This year, more than 2 million people will be diagnosed with cancer, but because of people like you, they won't have to face it alone. Your donation will help Imerman Angels reach more cancer fighters, survivors, previvors, and caregivers across the world who are in need of connection and understanding as they face the most trying times in their lives. By matching them with someone who's been through their same diagnosis, they'll have a guide to encourage them and support them through a world of unknowns. Thank you for giving a gift of connections and ensuring that no one faces cancer alone. So thank you, chat, for helping people be guardian angels to others.
Awesome. Good speech. You heard that? Even Yuna's congratulating you on that.
So now we get to use our iron hook to get inside the castle, and we have to sneak in and plan the siege. We are a samurai, a thief, an archer, a noblewoman, and that's it. Not really the biggest group to be taking on the Mongol Empire, but we've got no choice. We have to save Lord Shimura. So once again, Tumbleweed Samurai doing his thing, getting all the way up through the enemy encampment without being seen, except for he got a little bit close. They were a little onto him, but he disguised himself perfectly. Quite wonderfully.
This part is always a little bit tense because if you get spotted, you have to reload the checkpoint. You have to do it all over again. So,
There's a siege weapon up ahead.
always a little bit dicey.
Turn it on Yuna and me.
This is the only spot just for safety purposes. I like to put on the Mongolian armor, which is an armor that you get very late in the game because it has a sneak perk to it, and I just run right through it because I'm a cheater like that, and it's fantastic. That's our backup strat if we can't do Tumbleweed. So, Lady Masako, she says, hey, we can either go into this quietly or we can go head on, and of course, we don't have time to be sneaky. We're not Sam Fisher. We're not going to cling to the ceiling and drop down on bad guys. We're going to just come in here and destroy them, Call of Duty style. Explosions. If we had an airstrike, we'd call it an airstrike. It doesn't matter. We're just going to wipe them out as fast as possible. So that's what we're doing. We're clearing this out. There's this part right here where in the prologue, this is as far as you get to rescuing your uncle. You get to this bridge, and the game goes a little bit meta, and I love it here because Yuna is talking about like this part, and you say, this is as far as I got, and Yuna says, the Khan threw you off this bridge? How did you survive? And Jin goes, oh, I don't know. That's about as in-depth as they go to that. I don't know. The bridge is at least a good, what do you say, probably 20 meters in the air? Plot armor. Plot armor. How did you survive? I had to, so I did. That's basically it.
I could use Yuna's.
And in rights, he should not have. So right here is another opportunity where Ash could have a potential for a air assassination if he does it wrong. And I say wrong because if you do an air assassination, once again, how dare you not be a noble samurai, you'll get a cutscene. And so we don't want to do that. And every once in a while, Ash will fall for that freebie.
Yeah, I tend to do that. I really do.
So we get Yuna in here. We have to clear out these bad guys in here. So we take out as many as we can with the fire sword. I like to use explodey arrows. Everyone has their own kind of idea of how they do it. But ultimately, when you clear this area out, you want to make sure you have at least 2 bombs for the final part. This is actually the last mission in Act 1. And the final battle in this final mission is so much faster once again if we blow everybody up instead of trying to fight them like, noble samurai should. So this is going to be one of the few instances where Ash actually changes his outfit. He's going to switch over to the Sakai armor. Sakai armor. It's not a drink. It's Sakai.
Sakai armor.
The Sakai armor. So Jin gets drunk. But no, so he changes to the Sakai armor because it has a buff to the attack. When you are doing these sort of standoff 1v1 things, the duels, so to speak, there's no terror, there's no fear. The only perks that you need is either a perk that offsets your damage to make it better, or later on there's a battle that we have that we want to stagger more, and so he will put on another set of armor, a specific set of armor that we have set up for stagger bonuses. That immediately switches back over to the ghost armor, so that way he can start scaring people when he kills them, so more effective than just trying to brute strength through it. Tactician, if you will. We come running up through here, a couple brutes right here, not a problem for Jin. Oh, no, he just smoke bombs and assassinates them, and everything is good. There is a standoff that happens when you go through this door here that every once in a while you can skip past it. I find that if I just sit there and mash the jump button every once in a while, I'll skip past it, but it's not a guarantee, so you may get it, you may not. I don't know how to make it happen.
I really like to take the standoff simply because, as you can see, I can really quickly fill up my resolve again because I used up all of my resolve during the duel with Ryozo to do the Stances of Wrath to kill him quickly. And it's just a little bit of precaution because I'm playing on Leaf of Difficulty where every enemy hit will basically kill me. And this gives me a little bit of a safety cushion because I can just go ahead and revive myself again now. So, just in case things go wrong, especially in a marathon, I just like to take the time loss and do that standoff.
Yeah, we didn't really talk about resolve. So those little glowy yellow orbs above the hit points is resolve, which is mana, magic, whatever you want to call it. It's what allows us to do our special moves, which Jin did earlier, Dance of Wrath. But more importantly, especially on lethal, it allows you to get back up from defeat, from being knocked down to the ground. It allows you to get back up. You spend resolve to revive yourself. If Ash does a good job, he'll never have to worry about that. But it is a nice little thing to have just in case. And you gain extra resolve by doing those bamboo strikes that you passed by earlier to set a tag to. So this is big fight. We have rescued Lord Shimura, our uncle, and so now we have to basically clear the courtyard and get rid of all the remaining Mongols in here. Just Lord Shimura and Jin at first, but then after you take out the first set, everybody else joins you, and then a big old group comes up, and this is why you need the explosions, because they're all right there at the door. And so a quick little bomb, game over for them. Fast, easy, barely a fight at all.
And that's Act 1.
Well fought.
GG's on the Act 1. So this game is broken up into 3 acts and a prologue, and then of course the after game, which is based on whether or not you've done certain missions. You just kind of ride around and do stuff. So Act 1 is definitely the more technical section of the game. It's a lot more tactical for getting your items, your weapons, your riding, where you go with the horse, and really just kind of being on your game when it comes to all the different sneaky areas. Act 2, it is more technical than Act 3 for sure, but not nearly as much as Act 1. And it's a lot more linear, a lot more straightforward. You really only have to do like 3-4 missions, and they're all kind of surrounding the same thing. So once again, we know where we're going to go in what order. So we plan that out ahead of time, and we go just straight forward to it. But they're more of a go here, fight, move on. Whereas Act 1 is go here, search, do this, do that, roll around, sneak in. There's a lot more to it. So this one is definitely more of your straightforward kind of brute. And then Act 3 is just that. Act 3 is 1 or 2 little missions and then big fights. Big fights.
Also, you might have noticed during the whole of Act 1, I only did the one shopping trip at the very start of it after we recruited Sensei Ishikawa. Simply because there are not a lot of merchants along our route. You would actually have to go out of our way if you wanted to go ahead and buy more stuff. However, starting from Act 2, we will be able to restock our ammunitions basically before every story mission that we do, which is, pretty nice because we don't have to pay too much attention to our black powder bomb stock and stuff like that anymore, because we can just go ahead and buy more. Of course, the more shopping trips you have to do, the more time you lose, but it's definitely an option there. It is not, however, during Act 1, as I just said, and that is also why Act 1 is probably the most technical acts out of all of them.
Yeah, definitely a lot more tool management in Act 1. Yeah, when you do the big mission at the end of Act 2, there's literally a guy that stands right there. And so you go, okay, I'm going to buy all this stuff. And then you start the mission, and you're completely full on tools. Whereas Act 1, he bought them right after Sensei Ishikawa. And we know where specific things are, different bomb locations, things like that. So we know where to go to pick up if we're running low. But if we do something bad, it gets down to the end of Act 1, and you're out of ammo. That last fight becomes... It becomes hell. It really does. It's hard.
Also, speaking of which, if you think that a 3.5-hour speedrun is too long for you, we have a specific Act 1 category for all difficulties and New Game Plus, whatever. And as you already saw, only Act 1 is like 1.5 hours, roughly. So if you want to do shorter speedruns of this game, you can just go ahead and run the Act 1 category.
We must show our
Absolutely. And
honorable
again,
samurai
it's a
still
very
fight for this
technical
land.
speed run too. So I mean,
Time
it's
you
not
return
a
home,
lazy run at all. There's a lot of things that you can do in Act 1. So it is a good fun category. Ash is the record holder in, I think, medium, hard, and lethal. But I got the record in easy because I am the true samurai. And I can do that on easy. It's actually just because he spends more time doing lethal, and it was really quite amusing when I first started speedrunning this game. There was literally only 2 runners. It was me and another guy, and then I think Ash was on there as well. And I remember saying several times during my runs, like, I've only got a record on this because the expert people don't step down to easy. And then they step down to easy, and it's like, wow, now I'm in 3rd, and this makes me sad.
Mongol patrol
Um,
Run them down.
What was that arrow?
So
In arrows,
Yeah.
shoot them better.
several things have happened here since we rescued Lord Shimura. So we are chasing Khotun Khan north. We're out of Castle Canada, and we're on our way north.
I saw them in Castle Kaneda.
Sensei Ishikawa, I'm sorry, goodness gracious, Lord Shimura gives us the concerned father grumble about how we are trusting a thief. We need to be careful. We trusted Ryuzo as well, and he betrayed us. So clearly, you know,
Give our people hope.
Lord Shimura knows best. But later on, he's going to send us on a mission to go recruit a pirate that he has befriended. So, I mean, he's a little bit of a hypocrite, but, you know, do as I say, not as I do kind of guy. When we attack Fort Ito, this lighthouse here, we want to kill one archer and then back up and throw a bomb at the gate because, once again, everyone funnels into the gate. Run off to the right-hand side, hit a couple barrels over there to cause an explosion to kill as many people as we can down there, and then basically just mop up the rest because we have terror and we have all these fire and explosions things going on. Killing the people in here is very quick. You might get one guy that kind of survives it down at the bottom, and that's why Ash comes down here and checks. But most of the times you can get through this mission pretty quick. And when you circle back around, you got another convoy coming up with Yuna in the lead. She's basically running from the convoy. And so we wait until they get a little close because they get to you faster if they're charging at you than if we were to try to take them out at a lower area. So when they come up closer to you, well, normally they would, and I think they got sidetracked. They decided they didn't want to charge at you anymore. Normally they're supposed to come riding up at you really fast, and that's when you attack them because they got explosives on the cart. But it didn't play out that way. They were not participating properly.
They got a little bit sidetracked down there for whatever reason.
Yeah, stuck on something.
It is what it is sometimes.
Yeah.
But that is like
Then-
some of the things that can go wrong in this speedrun that you just have no control over. Sometimes the AI just, bogs out a little bit and just totally messes with your plans. And you just, have to react to that, and that just comes with a little bit of practice and experience.
An effective distraction.
Yeah, and then right here, Lord Shimura gives one of his finest lines to express just how much he cares about Yuna. He tells her that she was a rather effective distraction because, nothing good can come from a thief. So, hey, you were a distraction. Thank you. But we don't really need you here, kind of thing. It's kind of a jerk. Kind of a jerk.
Oh, he just doesn't trust Yuna at all.
He's a jerk. So Yuna tells Lord Shimura, she says, hey, you need to fight the Khan. We need to all kind of unite together. You need an army. You don't have an army, but I know where an army is. And there is people in a town called Yarikawa. And they want you to know that they are from Yarikawa. When you recruit them later, you will know they are from Yarikawa. And Yarikawa and Lord Shimura, they don't have the best of relationships. There was a Yarikawa rebellion sometime during the period of Jin's life. They don't really say exactly how long ago
I think
it was.
about 20 years ago, I think.
I think something like that, yeah. Kind of when they were younger, because Jin was young. That assassin from earlier that tried to take out the Jito was part of the Yarikawa rebellion. So it was within that time frame. So yeah, 8, 9, 10, however old he was. So he's reluctant, but he says, I mean, if you can recruit him, then go ahead. And this is quite the lovely character. This is our good friend. This is Norio, our warrior monk. And Norio is a great guy, and the voice actor who plays Norio is also a great guy. But again, we're in a speedrun setting, so we don't care how nice the person is. We don't want to talk to Norio. Norio basically tries to tell us he wants to get all of the people from his temple, the Kushi temple. And yeah, we just peace out. Like, all right, bye. See you later. His conversation is so short that by the time it puts in the thing that says, hey, return back to the tail area, we're already gone. It's fine. We're good. Wrap it up. We're done here.
And this is basically more or less everything that we see from Norio in the whole speedrun, which is really sad, actually.
So Norio has a really good story as well. Everybody has a really good story, but Norio's is really good. So Norio's story is he is a warrior monk, and him and other warrior monks were riding south from Kushi Temple, which is here in Izuhara. He's riding south from Kushi Temple to face the Mongols. But on his way down there,
actually, Kushi Temple is the one here in Izuhara. Not Izuhara.
It's from further up, right? Anyways, he's riding down from Kushi Temple, and they get captured. And while they're captured, his brother gets taken away and or killed. So now he is basically on a kind of a revenge quest, so to speak, but more of we need to protect our monks. Yeah, we need to protect our monks, do the things. His main goal is to protect a couple towns and save the temples. And so his missions revolve around that. And he's got quite a character turn later on too, which almost mirrors Jin's a little bit, but kind of stops it and goes back about being a normal good monk. So as you saw, Ash just rode by Akashima village, and that was to once again tag it for a fast travel later, much later in Act 2. We will travel back to that to get to another mission later on, but we needed to tag it on our way through. We are on our way to Yarikawa village, basically to try to recruit them. And this is another long ride. I see that we do have a higher total now than we did last time you read donations. So if you have a donation or anything you'd like to talk about, now would be a good time to do so.
I'd be happy to. We have a donation from Charlatan11235 for $5. It says, hey folks, good luck. Love you guys doing this. Here to show support from the community. Keep up the good work.
So Charlatan is another speedrunner. He is also running the any % New Game Plus Easy category. And I think he is 3rd place at the moment, just behind mine and Wicked's times. So, hey there. Also, he did his first marathon run today, a little bit earlier.
Yeah, he's the one we were talking about earlier, for sure.
Oh, wonderful. Congratulations.
Yeah. He is actually... He spends a lot of time, or he did. I don't know if he still does it anymore because I haven't seen any reports of anything. But he's done a lot of kind of glitch hunting and exploit hunting, things that he can do. He's the first one that learned how to get into a restricted area by Michael Baying your way in, throwing a bomb at your horse's feet. Will get you into a restricted area. It would have been really nice, but the game actually is designed to where they don't load those restricted areas until you're actually allowed to get in there. So, whereas we were
he found a lot of little tricks and stuff, but we basically can apply none of it because the game is just that restrictive. So it's really a shame because we found a lot of stuff that we would really like to use.
Yeah, a lot of things like in other speedruns that was like, okay, so like Oblivion. You get through a wall, you just keep going. Not in this game. You get through a wall in this game, they're like, you're not here yet. We don't have anybody loaded. Come back later.
Like I said, the QA team did a really good job.
Yeah, well, I was about to ask, is this one of those situations where that's changed over time with patches, or was it that way even in 1.0?
It was always that good.
Yeah, it would seem that way because, well, a lot of these things weren't found until after 1.0 was done, but just the way that they do it, like there's no models loaded in. There's literally nothing there. If you go into one of the villages that you're not supposed to have access to, if you go in there, there's literally nobody loaded. There's no merchants. There's no NPCs. There's nothing. So it's just a big empty area with just buildings. So it seems as though it was built that way.
But this was home. Sooner or later.
So this
on the one hand, it is a shame because we don't get to show off a lot of cool tricks and stuff. But on the other hand, I think it makes it kind of attractive for speedrunners, or maybe as your first speed game in a way, because there is not a lot of crazy glitches and tricks and something that you have to learn. You just go ahead, start the game, and try to go as fast as you can.
Taka's right.
So this is the only other spot where you can skip an observation in Act 2. There's one in Act 3, but this is the only one in Act 2. And you don't have to look at the bridge there. You just look at the camp, and then you look at the white tree, and basically you're told that, oh, there's a secret entrance behind this tree, behind a waterfall. I have one time, and one time only, I have managed to get to that waterfall without triggering this big old long conversation that they have, and I have yet to figure out how to do it. I don't know what I did. I don't know how I did it, but I got to the tree before this big old conversation took place. So basically,
like I can't go through this tunnel here until they have stopped this particular conversation, and Wicked was somehow able to skip that, and we just don't know how. We would really like to replicate it, but we just can't.
And I have tried over and over and over again. Basically, they don't start that conversations of, we used to catch dragonflies here. I don't know how I did it. I've tried replicating it. I've tried getting hit as I was jumping through things to like prevent it. I've tried going into ghost mode. I have tried so... Ooh. I wonder if that would work. If we went into like ghost mode before we dropped down there and then like walked all the way over there. That might be worth a try. Maybe I just didn't do it right before. So this is going to be a spot where Ash uses Dance of Wrath. And Dance of Wrath will... Normally it consumes Resolve, but since we're not in combat, it doesn't. So he's going to use Dance of Wrath and then pull out his bow, put it away, so that way it resets it. So he can get past that conversation. That's one of the few conversations that does not allow you to jump.
Yeah, so this is actually one of the skips that Charlton did find that we can use during the run, which is pretty good.
Because you're supposed to very slowly walk with that group. And then as you get to the bridge, the Mongols are coming to talk, so you just run to the gate. But Charles found out that you can actually, if you can get past that and then jump onto the bridge, you can skip the whole thing. So definitely saved, I think it was like 15 seconds or something like that.
Something around
so
that, yeah.
A good save. Now we're going to go up and we're going to talk to the person who runs Yarikawa. Child, I guess you could say, of the rebellion, Ujitsuma, who is family of the rebellion holders, even though the clan was quote-unquote disbanded. And he pretty much says, no, the Mongols aren't interested in Tsushima. We're just going to hold out, and they'll eventually forget about us and leave. Because, you know, a big war camp outside your town, best to do is just ignore it, right?
Exactly. It'll all just blow over, you know. Go to the Winchester, have a few peanuts, and wait for the whole thing to blow over.
Go. So he says, I will forget about it. Well, Taka talks to the blacksmith here. He finds out that there are archers that went off to fight the Mongols, and they haven't returned. So that's what we need to do in order to basically get Yarikawa on our side. Ash was pausing a lot there, not intentionally. If it doesn't go through a specific trigger point, it doesn't actually let you load the map. But he wanted to travel to this spot here specifically because this gets us to the next fight faster. And this is where we have the archers. They're called the Cowards of Yarikawa. I don't know why they're called that. But you got to go find Daikuku and
I
his
think it's
archer
because
buddy.
of Taka, because this is like one of the quests where Jin encourages Taka to be a little bit more courageous and stand up for what he believes in.
Yeah, Yuna doesn't like that very much.
Yep.
Yuna gets very mad. So Yuna and Jin, they're very nice to each other for most of the story, and they get kind of this bond thing going. And this, at the end of this mission, it's quite humorous. They just kind of look at each other like a couple scorned, and then, fine, I'll see you back at Yarkal, and they walk off.
At least once a week.
It's
I think
quite
Yuna
lovely.
is very protective of her brother, whereas Jin tries to empower Taka to, make his own decisions.
Yeah,
Yuna
the
doesn't
whole
like
"you're not
that.
going to be there forever to protect him" kind of thing. So,
Yeah.
which I mean makes sense, but she's the sister. She's protected him her whole life. There's been things that if you go through Yuna's story that you find out that it's like you understand why she protects him so much. And Jin's just like, let him stand up for himself. Stop coddling him. And then there's the bear.
Bear!
Sleeping here.
Dead bear.
At least the bear didn't
Dead bear.
eat them.
Because why not? Bear.
It's just
So
hungry,
the bear-
like
Those
Ryuzo.
things hide to
Yeah,
be cohesive.
yeah. But
The archers must
unlike Ryuzo, he actually found food and was
He did.
eating
Explosive.
quite well. So well, in fact, that he didn't want to eat Taka. So we find out that these archers have stolen a bunch of the Mongols' explosive barrels. Once again, you could tell they're explosives because they're red. Anything that's red must go boom. That's the way the world
It's just
works.
a law. Yeah, that's a law.
I think it is.
They're staying low for a
I
reason.
think
It's
it is.
red,
If
it
you, paint,
explodes.
Keep your heads down.
if you paint your house red, it will explode. It's just the way that things work.
What about those ropes earlier that were white and red? I guess they're
Well,
flammable.
I guess the white kinda, mixes with
The white
red.
nullifies it. Yeah,
Okay. See, I'm not up on my color theory.
it averages out to pink, which is not dangerous at all.
Prison
Pink is
Looks like the
is
locals
not
are
scary.
preparing to move. Headed for a garrison on this
So,
other side of Old Town.
we have found Daikuku, and we found some people that were
There's your
climbing
archers.
up the mountain very slowly. Well, not climbing; they were just kind of trudging up there. So we just charged straight forward because it doesn't matter. We find all of his captive archers. There's like almost 6 of them there. Crazy, right? But then when we rescue them later, there's going to be about a dozen of them.
I'll shoot the
There's
barrels
a
when
lot.
Mongols get close.
So one thing that Ash is going to do here is something that we learned earlier on that helps it out. He's going to shoot the barrel to trigger the enemies to aggro so they come in here faster. And then he's going to start doing his wonderful explodey attacks. And somehow the big explosion doesn't hurt the archers that are on your team. Don't quite know how that friendly fire is off on this mission, I guess. But again, Ash knows where all the enemies are coming from. They do group from certain areas. So if he is fast enough running from area to area, he can basically intercept these people as they come in instead of trying to play catch up. And I had a good run that was on really amazing pace that got lost here because someone decided to go get trapped around the back of a tower. It's just terrible. Kind of like this guy who's hanging out over there just sleeping.
Okay, that fight was really interesting because I didn't have to fight any of the 3 Mongol commanders that spawn around here. They somehow just got killed by something. No idea, but I'll take
Got
it.
bored and they left. They said, never mind, we're
Maybe.
out. See you later. See you later.
Because the Mongol commanders, as far as I can tell, they're actually immune to the fear effect, so that wasn't it normally. So they had
weird.
to be killed by something?
I saw you throw one bomb at one, but that was it.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Well, that never happened before.
yeah.
Taka,
So now that we have rescued the archers, we're gonna go talk to Yuna. We're gonna have a good old time with her. We're gonna have some drinks. We are gonna become Lord Sake, and have a good old time. And then lo and behold,
see you again.
Mongols. We're gonna have a fight. It's gonna be fantastic. This is a fight where you notice he was going through his ammo. Again, merchants are now along the way a lot more than they were in Act 1. So he wanted to make sure he had all of his explodies, but then also wanted to check to make sure that he had enough smoke bombs because this is the other location that you use smoke bombs to immediately end combat to progress the story. And I'm not going to give too much away, but you'll see when it happens, and it's quite fantastic.
We'll stop them.
So we had a few drinks with Yuna, quite a few. They had a good old time. They were laughing, they were drunk, and they fell asleep. And you wake up, the Mongols are attacking. So it's up to Jin to once again save the day. This whole big war camp that comes out. Yeah, you're gonna be attacked by like 12 people per side, and that's it. But you know, big Mongol attack. You won't see most of them because Ash, again, knows which side they're coming from, so he's got his explodey arrows ready to go, using the explosion, the fire, the fear to really just kind of make these battles fast. He gets told that they're over at the other gate, so taking them out at the gate, basically stands here and watches as the Mongols start to cross the bridge and throws bombs to finish them. Real fast, easy fight.
That is everything that you need to save your Yarikawa. It's like 3 explosive arrows, 3 bombs, you're good to go.
But no, you needed the ghost. The ghost had to do it.
Okay.
So, Jin says, "Hey, that was very easy. They shouldn't be running away so fast. What's going on?" Well, there's giant siege weapons that you've got to go take care of. Trebuchets. No, these are catapults. These are not trebuchets. So Jin has to go up and destroy these catapults. And the idea for this is there's 6 to 10 guys surrounding each catapult, and you're supposed to either sneak up on them or fight them, you know, face head on. But we don't have time for that. So we're going to smoke bomb. We're going to destroy catapult. We're going to run over to the other catapult. We're going to smoke bomb and destroy it too. And then just like that, boom, fight's over. Siege weapons gone. So 3 bombs, a couple of arrows, and a couple smoke bombs, and that's it. That's all you needed.
Nobody is none the wiser.
Who did it? How did it happen? Nobody knows. There was smoke, and the catapults were destroyed. Yep. So this is another
ghost,
part.
I think.
It was a ghost. So this is another part where
quest is called the Ghost of Yarikawa, so you know.
So you can run right past these guys, or you can roll. If you run past them, you'll trigger the aggro, and they'll start fighting, and you might be able to smoke bomb to get away from them. But it's easier if you just roll past everybody and then sit up next to the gate. If you do, for some reason, trigger aggro, you can smoke bomb your way out of this fight, but for the most part, rolling your way through here. And I always like it. If you look at his character, he's all covered in mud. I really like that they put that in there. But the reason this mission is called the Ghost of Yarikawa is because this is where you learn Ghost Stance. And Ghost Stance is the ultimate, I am the badass, I am the savior of this island. Everybody fears me. And the way you get that is by getting 7 kills in a row, or by sneaking up and slaughtering a general. And when this fight is over, you slaughter General Tsushima here, and that's how you learn the Ghost Stance. And we already know it, so it's not a big thing, but yeah, that's the point to this mission here. Tsushima, just like Ryuzo, Dance of Wrath, 3 times, pretty fast, easy fight. Then we cut his head off, because we are that amazing. Now, even though we know how to be the ghost, it still makes us switch into Ghost Stance here. But once you kill the 3 people, they kind of tell you to slaughter everybody, fight your way out of the city. But they're all just running away anyways, and the only thing we really have to do is just go all the way through the city and run out the other side. There will be people that will...
So you have to be a little bit cautious that when people start attacking you, that you actually dodge them.
Yeah, not everyone is scared of you. Not everyone. Most of them, though.
Because you know, we are playing on lethal difficulty, so every hit against me can basically kill me. And since I don't have a lot of resolve after the duel against Temugi, because I used 3 Dances of Wrath, I have no way to revive myself if I get hit.
Yes. Very sad. And so the cutscene here is basically recruiting the people of Yarikawa. They all just, we can't fight. We're nothing. We're nobodies. And Jin's like, you're you defeated this invading army. You won this fight. No, they didn't. Jin won it. But hey, you know, good speech. Good speech, Jin. People are going to fight for you now.
Also, the story quest that we are coming up on, it is a very nice story quest, but it vexes me as a speedrunner, because what's going to happen here, it's basically a story quest. Not a lot is happening gameplay-wise. It basically, you know, you do it to get the Sakai armor, your family armor, which we are actually wearing at this very moment in time. So, you know, doing the quest for that armor is completely useless. We also do the quest to get the blowgun, which we also already have. So there's absolutely no reason to do the quest for that reason. And then we do it for the story, which we altogether skip because you can skip all the cutscenes. So from a speedrun perspective, there's absolutely no reason to do this quest, but we have to do it because there's no way around it. And it vexes me.
I'm angry.
Yes.
I mean, and what's really funny is it even registers that you have the armor at this time, because if you do the only other mission that you can do right now, which is a mission that involves Lord Shimura, if you're wearing the Sakai armor, when you approach Lord Shimura, he says, "Oh, that armor looks good on you. You were destined to wear it." And so it's like the game registers that you have it, but they still want you to do it. So here we go. This is another kind of a ride. We're going to pass by Lord Shimura's camp, his big base in the woods, where we are staging our assault on Castle Shimura. So that's the only thing that Ash is going to do on his way to his hometown. And once again, I see the numbers are climbing. So if you would like to go ahead and read off some donations, you have some time.
I'd be happy to. I was just looking for the opportunity to interject, but you provided that to me expertly. Thank you. We have a $25 anonymous donation. There is no comment, but the generosity of the donation speaks volumes, more than any of us could say or express. But on that note, it does give me an opportunity to talk about, you know, we've spoken about incentives, the kind of things you can put your money toward, like naming Pokemon. There are also incentives for the upcoming Fire Emblem 3 Houses, Pokemon Sword and Shield, and Morrowind runs. But in addition, every individual donation over $20 is an entry into a drawing being held after the marathon for one of 5 shirts and 5 track jackets from Imerman Angels as prizes. So every individual donation that meets or exceeds that $20 will be an entry into a raffle. And if you'd like to see what those look like, you can go to the Imerman Angels website. The link is in the chat, so have a look and continue doing good work, chat. Thank you.
Keep donating, people. Keep donating. We need the money. You want to hear that story, right? About the Port Izumi Tea Party? You do want to hear that. I'm sure of it.
And thank you, Anonymous, for your donation. We greatly appreciate it. I'm sure you're a wonderful person for your donation. So Ash, there's a couple different routes that Ash can take to do this, and it's really runner's choice at this point. Ash specifically takes this route because he can ride the horse closer to the estate, and there's a door right there that he can run through. Whereas the other way, you kind of have to go up through the main gate, and it just takes a little bit, just a touch longer. But Ash likes this route. I think it is a little bit faster because on the other route, there's a part where you got to kind of wiggle your horse back and forth before him to jump. And so, yeah, Ash's route is a little bit quicker.
It's actually a thing in this speedrun. Like, most of the longer rides are not set in stone yet. Like, we always find, you know, a bit of a new route that just goes, you know, another second faster here, another second faster there. So we are still trying to find the most optimal route for all of these longer horse rides. So, you know, still experimenting with stuff like that. And that is basically why every runner will have a little variation here and there at how he approaches certain quests and stuff like that.
Yeah, and this quest line, like I said, there is only one other quest that you can do right now. I personally actually do a different quest right now. I actually do these quests in a different order because the travel time frame between the two don't really matter because you're still fast traveling to the same points and traveling to the marker. So I do these fights and these in a little bit different order. Also, after the mission with Lady Masako, I go a different route to get to Kenji. So yeah, like he's saying, everyone has their own kind of little nuances because when you have these big long ride sessions, Ash has it like for the start of Act 2, he's got a green tree that he looks for. I don't think he found it this time because it looked like he got a little lost.
I did.
But each person has their own certain things that they look for in the horizon or little kind of markers to guide their way through because pulling up your map takes time. Throwing a marker down takes time. And when you start Act 2, for the first couple missions after you start Act 2, if you pull up the map, it actually tells you that the Mongols are raiding farms, and it takes the time to tag several various farms on the map. So not only does it take time to tag where you want to go, you have to sit through this 10-second long thing where they're talking about Mongols tagging stuff. So learning your own particular route to make it faster for you is kind of what we do for this run. And it does make each runner do their own thing. Most of our fights are a little bit different. Ash will use bombs where I'll use exploding arrows. And sometimes Ash will not have a bomb, so he'll use a flaming arrow or, whatever the situation is. Every fight is situational and it's based on what equipment the runner prefers to pick up on the way. So it does have quite a bit of fun. No two runs are going to be exactly identical. So we went and paid our respects. We wrote a haiku to our family. We are honoring the dead. We come back and we put on the Sakai armor, and here we have the Straw Hat Ronins. And so instead of doing the standoff that it wants us to do here, because part of getting the Sakai armor is that you have a higher standoff streak. Instead of 1, you get 3. Ash will just charge up, throw a smoke bomb because assassinating them is so much faster. Generally, anytime you can kill them in less than 5 seconds is gonna be faster than a standoff because you don't have to load the "come and fight me, you cowards" cutscene thing.
Although these straw hats like to really approach really slowly, even in the standoff, so that takes like really a long time to get through the standoff if you do it the normal way.
And if you miss the standoff, the Ronin are second only to the dogs. The dogs are the worst. The Ronins are right up there. They are very good at dodging, very good at blocking and deflecting.
They're really formidable enemies, for sure.
Yes, they are. So we didn't really talk about, this is Yoriko. Yoriko is the keeper of the Sakai estate. She goes and she gets the armor for us when we go to pay our respects. Then as we're on our way down to the Red Ring, she talks about how there is a poison that they use to keep the rodents out of their rice. And Jin is like, hey, can you make that poison strong enough to kill a human? And she objects a little bit, but because you are her master, she agrees to do it. So she sends you on a little quest to go get some reeds, so some blowgun tubes. And then once we go back to her, she's going to take us up to this camp where she makes the poison. So this is what Ash was talking about how we already have the blowgun. We don't need to do this, but we do. And this gives you a little bit of backstory about who you are, because it's Yoriko, the one that took care of you as a child. She has a good story too. She's definitely falling into a state of, dementia. I want to say dementia, because that's probably the best thing for her. She keeps picturing you, spoiler alert, as your father because you're wearing your father's armor. And she talks to you like your father quite a few times. And then she, spoiler alert, I'm not going to say.
Yeah, it's like a really touching story that is building up. Like a whole side quest chain revolves around that, and like everybody that I have talked to who did this quest like was able to get a personal story out of it because they have seen, like their grandparents be in a similar situation once they started to get older. And it's really touching. It's like really well done. The voice acting and the dialogue is just like perfect. Like it's a really touching story.
Yeah, the way they told the story is really good. And the way they put it into you as the character experiencing it and progressing it is really amazing. And there's a few stories in here that you can't really connect with, like Norio. It's a war. His brother gets captured. He's got to go save him. Not a lot of people are going to experience that in their lifetime. You know, you've got Ryuzo, again, a war, leading a band of warriors that are hungry. Most people aren't going to experience that sort of thing. But Yuna's story and Yoriko's story are probably the two stories in this game that just about anybody in modern times right now can relate to. And it makes a really good touching story.
That's not to say that the other stories are bad or anything. It's just like Ricky just said, it's more relatable for most of the people because they will actually experience that themselves. Also, this was a little blunder there. Like, I actually went too far ahead of my ally. You know, I was trying to go too fast, and the game immediately, punished me for it because I went too far ahead of my ally. So I had to go back and get her again. And
the fact that you only saw that right now is actually quite a testament to how good Ash does with these follow/walk with stories, because every one of the stories that gives you you're stepping away from your ally thing, including Ryuzo and the one with Kenji, if you get too far away from them, they will stop. So Ash does a really good job of keeping within that perimeter without causing that trigger. So unfortunate it happened this time, but every once in a while he's got to show the wrong way to do it so that way you know what not to do in your run.
More content, you know.
Yeah.
Gotta sprinkle in a few failures here and there to be able to explain stuff. So it doesn't look too easy for people who have never seen this run.
That's right. Every failure now sets up for a gold split later.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. That's the speedrun mentality for me. So you get the blowgun and you use the blowgun and you go, wow. Wow. Like Owen Wilson. Wow. Wow.
People die.
So now that we've got the blowgun, if we use it moving forward, even though we've used it on that guy there and we've used it twice in the story, if we use it now we're going to get shamed for it. So we're not going to use the blowgun anymore throughout the story. There's not really a whole lot else to use it for anyways, but we won't use the blowgun anymore. So we have done that mission. The only other thing that we have left to do right now is we have to go and recruit the pirate. And the pirate is the individual that I was talking about earlier. Lord Shimura shames you for trusting a thief, but he trusts a pirate. So we've got to go talk to this pirate. Why do we need a pirate, you ask? Well, because the waters are full of Mongol ships, and who knows the waterways better than a pirate? And we need to get a message to the Shogun on the main island. So we have to recruit this pirate, who coincidentally just happens to have a ship where we need it to be, and happens to have a map that shows you where the ship is, because, you know, who doesn't have maps that shows where they store boats? So that's going to be our mission right now. We've got to go get him, and then we're going to be almost ready to storm the castle. But there's going to be one other little thing that's going to pop up first.
So basically the reason why we need to get this message to the Shogun on the mainland is actually because they have no idea that the whole island of Tsushima has been invaded by these Mongols. And since all the samurai on the island are dead, except for Jin and his uncle, you know, we need some more samurai to help clean up this mess here.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Which again, this comes down to the real story of it. Tsushima was really just a jumping point for the Mongols. They conquered it, they occupied it, but then they moved on rather rapidly because this was not their focus. However, the Japanese Empire, the Shogun, knew that Tsushima would be a main focus point, as well as another major port on the main island, and that major port never actually got invaded fully, or not occupied. It never got occupied, thanks to some really fortunate weather on the Japanese side. So to get a little real on this one, when the Mongols invaded Japan, they took over Tsushima, and then they went to the main island. And when they got to, I want to say it was Hotto, Hotto, but I might be mixing that up with something else. When they got to that port, there was a huge tsunami that came through and wiped out a bunch of their ships. And so they didn't have the force to continue fighting, so they left. And when they came back, like 8 years later, another tsunami came through right as they got to the mainland and wiped out a bunch of their ships. So the Khan was like, nope, we're done. We're done. We're out. And didn't invade them anymore.
Out. 2 failed invasions. I'm done with this shit.
So maybe that'll be something for Ghost of Tsushima 2, the tsunami days.
The Storm Rider.
There you go.
Tsunami Rider.
You find out that Jin actually was the reason that the tsunami happened. He just, yeah,
you just gotta set off some explosives somewhere underground, underneath sea level, to cause a tsunami, like it happens in real life when the tectonic plates, rub against each other.
Jin
can cause that.
Jin just used his amazing hold breath capability and swam all the way to the ocean floor, planted bombs in the plates, caused ginormous earthquakes, which caused tidal waves. Boom.
I'm all for
defeated.
it. Solve all your problems with explosives.
Listen, it's an anachronism. We can tell it how we want to. That can be how it really happened. Who knows?
Yeah, that's a New Game Plus only technique, right? You have to hone your breathing for a long time.
Yes.
It's like in Metal Gear Solid 2, where you have to train your stamina so you can edge along the rails a little bit longer.
There you go.
That's why I was drinking.
I like that. I think that should be something that we do.
Like an alternate ending or something.
There you go. Eventually, you just get good enough that you just stand there on the shore and you just like Moses.
Even you.
Just summon it, but instead of creating like a part, you just bring it to you. Why not? Why not? So this is Goro. This is Goro, not to be confused with the 8-arm or 4-arm, 8-foot tall terror from Mortal Kombat. This is the pirate Goro.
Speaking of which, is anybody looking forward to that movie? Because I'm so looking forward to that remake, reboot, whatever movie that's coming out in a few weeks. Like, I'm really hyped up for that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be a good movie. I think it will be. Got nothing to do with this game, though.
The trailer looks so good, man. I don't know.
Open up, Goro!
I didn't call for
Chad, who else is hyped up for Mortal Kombat? Speak up.
Speak up. Say it now. We can't get through this without referencing Mortal Kombat.
As someone who watched the other movies in theaters, yeah, I will definitely be there for it.
Like, I have a really strong urge to rewatch all these older movies, especially the first one. Maybe not so much the others, but the first one is like,
no, you could probably take a skip on Annihilation. They kind of forgot to put a story in that one.
Yeah. Oh my God, Annihilation.
What the heck do you need a story for? Like, let's be real here, people.
I mean, unless you're sitting there climbing a tower and fighting somebody on each floor, then you're not following the true story of Mortal Kombat.
Exactly. Just give me fights and fatalities, goddammit.
That was one thing that I did not understand about some of the Mortal Kombats, and I know we're talking about a totally different game, but I don't care. Some of the later Mortal Kombats, like I played one of the Mortal Kombats on PlayStation 2, I think it was Shaolin Monk or something like that, and you didn't have Mortal Kombat X. There was like no fatalities in the story mode. The whole story mode, there was no fatalities. It's like, wait a minute. No, I want to rip this guy's spine out, but instead I just slap him around a little bit, and it's like the Earth is safe. No, it's not.
I think it was the DC Universe crossover one where you didn't have any fatalities because they weren't allowed to.
Yeah, DC didn't want fatalities, but no, this was like Mortal Kombat X. The story from Mortal Kombat X does not have like fatalities in it. Like you don't actually kill somebody in the stories from Mortal Kombat X, which makes me sad. Sad day. Jin would be disappointed for sure.
I mean, can you just imagine like Jin and Khotun Khan in a Mortal Kombat game? Because I can totally imagine that.
I could see it in a Soul Calibur. I
Also
can see it
true.
in a Soul Calibur.
Also true.
Jin versus the
All right.
Witcher Soul Calibur 7.
I'm just gonna put this energy out into the world.
He could have been
Bushido Blade 3.
but you saw a better
Ooh.
path.
Oh, yeah, there we go. There we
You
go.
heard
That
it
is
here
all.
first, folks. You heard it here first. If it happens, it's because of this right here.
Devs, get on it.
Mongols have
We
many
want it.
ships. Can Goro
I remember the
raid them
Bushido
all?
Blade games.
No choice.
Oh,
What will we do if they catch
so
us?
much love.
That's a long time ago.
Oh yeah. So, all right, back to what we're doing. Because we get sidetracked. Your 3.5 hour game that we've played several times. We get sidetracked. We talk about other things. So we have recruited Goro. This is Goro here. He's like, we're at our ship. And so we go talk to our uncle. This is the mission to where if you are wearing the Sakai armor, which you can do before you go get the Sakai armor, your uncle will be like, that looks good on you. So that's what I was talking about here with that one. So the idea for this is that you have to get into Fort Midodake. And Fort Midodake was a fort that,
Now the Mongols have it.
see, and this is where I get a little bit confused with timelines, because Lord Shimura says that his father took Fort Midodake from the Yarikawa Rebellion.
But our attack will catch them off guard.
But
he?
maybe it was a
Let's pray
different
that's what's true
Yarikawa
in the
Rebellion?
fort.
I don't know. Yeah, he does.
But they
He
cannot
says that
be
right
at once.
before the
How long can
now
we keep
the
the
Mongols
element
have
of
it and we'll take it
surprise?
back.
Only until
Says
we
my
see
father
the
took
way.
that fort.
Then
Yeah.
So long since I listened to the dialogue.
Yeah, it's crazy. So that's where that is the one part where the story really kind of gets me a little bit confused. But anyways, so this is Fort Midodake, and Lord Shimura wants to once again, hey, be honorable, go face them man to man. So he's going to. He's gonna run up to him man to man and throw bombs at him and do explodey things because explosions are cool. You have to be really careful at this part. When you notice the bad guys coming out of the doors, you do not want to kill those bad guys or really anybody too close to those bad guys because if you scare off those people closing the doors, they won't close the doors. As you can see, it's given a little bit of issue. Also, if you try to open that door before everything has closed and Lord Shimura has...
Dude.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Just close the goddamn door, will you?
If you try to access this too soon, or if you go running through there, you will die, and you'll have to reset, kill a couple guys, and try it again. Wow, you broke it. You might want to reload checkpoint, my friend.
I think this gateman is actually practicing his own wrong warps.
Yeah.
Here you go.
There's a real checkpoint. So yeah, that could sometimes happen.
Yep, see, and that's what I was saying, and it happened just like I called it. If you kill anybody or you startle anybody at that spot, it can break the game. Because I think what's happening is the character is feared, but the model is not feared. So the model keeps closing the door, but since the character's not actually there to close the door, it keeps trying to cycle that. That's my philosophy or theory on it. My insight of not knowing anything, trying to pretend like I know stuff. But yeah, it's much better. Much better. Kill the people on the lower areas. I've had it to where I've killed one of those guys closing the door. Wasn't good. But once Uncle Lord Shimura says, well done, Jin, then you can finally like know that everything's fine. You wait till he gets up to the door and then you open the door. If you do it anytime sooner, you will break the game. So this is
Thank you, Uncle.
definitely a game-breaking kind of area. And this is another spot that makes me kind of chuckle a little bit. Lord Shimura says, look at how the enemies fear you, but then later on criticizes you because you use fear as a weapon. It's like, come on, guy. Make up your mind.
I
Figure it out.
weaponized fear.
Yes. Yes. So the idea for this part, there's two sections to Fort Midodake once you get through this door. You've got the fight section, and then you've got the get to the tower section. Both of these sections, both of these sections are just run very fast sections. Dodge the doggos, the borks will eat you.
I hate
And-
the dog.
and you're good.
I hate him so much.
Ash is a dog hater. Everybody report him. He's a dog hater.
I just have a burning hate for these little shitty Mongolian ankle fighters who can just go ahead and rot in hell for all I care.
So this is a Hwacha, and the Hwacha is quite a weapon. It fires off explodey, burny arrows, and it's really nice that it will paint an area on the ground where it's going to fire those arrows. So you know where it's going to happen, kind of like, every other game that has a long-range weaponry attacking you. The really fun part about this is getting the dogs to step in that area, because then you hear them whine when they get shot, and it's just that little bit of gratifying. Little bit.
I heard them. They got burned. Fuckers. Sorry. PG-13.
So,
the hackers.
Yeah. The hackers. What the hex? So you get to the tower, and basically Uncle is like, "Hey, we cleared the fort out. We're good." And you're like, "Well, no, Goro still has to get away." And I don't know what Lord Shimura's plan was, because you're like, "Let's use the Hwacha," and he's like, "Well, no, that's a weapon of the enemy." And then you decide to use it anyway. So I don't know what his plan was before they realized that was there, but that's the plan now. So you use the Hwacha to take out all of the enemy ships. There are small patrolly boats, and then there are big guardy boats, and then there are people on the shore that fire little burny sticks at you. You have to clear out all of those, all while kind of maintaining to make sure that he doesn't get approached by a little bitty ship. If he gets approached by a little bitty ship, you have to redo it, which is sad. It happens sometimes. It's not supposed to, but I've done it. Ash has done it. Rando ship you didn't see somewhere approaches.
And that's the thing,
sadness.
it's actually not random. Like, all these spawns are set in place, so you will always know where they come from, but sometimes you just forget one ship, and that's that.
And this next part that he's taken out right here is like, we know that these ships are going to come from the side of this boat over here. So it's just a little preemptive firing just to take them out as soon as they spawn, and a little bit of time save, because we know they're going to be there, so we take them out.
Ships on the way. Hold on, Goro.
In theory.
Got
But
it.
you'll get the all clear. You made it, Goro.
Goro.
Deliver the Shogun's message.
Shogun's help.
Now, this is a very emotional part of the game. In this part of the game, again, if you're watching the story, as I've mentioned, this is Lord Shimura. He's our uncle. Well, our father dies early in the game. We learn about his death through Jin just being a coward, because, I mean, he was like 10, and there were bandits at the estate, and they killed everybody. But Jin blames himself for it because he was a coward and watched his father die. So Lord Shimura basically takes us on and says, "I will train you to be a good samurai. I will protect you. I will take care of you." When we send the Shogun our message for help, that was also Lord Shimura's brilliant plan, to send a notification of adoption. He says, "We are going to adopt, or we want to adopt Jin as our own son, therefore making him the heir to Clan Shimura and making him the rightful Jito of the island should something happen to Lord Shimura." And so this is, again, this is a very emotional kind of conversation that they have. Like, "Oh, I'm so happy you'll make me that." And basically, Lord Shimura knows that Jin was doing some shady stuff, but is overlooking it to a point. But
I mean, he
then
loves him
more,
like a son, right?
yeah. But then more samurai show up, and so he's got to be more strict to the Shogun's rule and honor and yada yada. So some things change a little bit. So what we're doing now, we've gotten the message to Goro, and while we were doing that, a messenger arrived and told us right where Ryuzo was. Says he's at this fort. And so instead of hunting him down, instead of trying to track him down, instead of trying to find him, we now know right where he's at. And so we are going there because, that makes perfect sense, by ourselves, because that makes perfect sense, to confront Ryuzo. one thing that you didn't see, Ryuzo, he turned on you. He basically ratted you out to the Khan. He tried to kill you for the Khan, and then he ran away. Well, you also didn't see that after Act 1, when they get up here to the northern area and they get to Castle Shimura, the Khan makes Ryuzo prove himself by killing his own people, by literally setting somebody on fire at the stake as a torture to get them to let them into the castle.
You know,
So
he just wanted to make
Ryuzo's
a barbecue because he was hungry.
yeah, he's so hungry. He's going for cannibalism. So Ryuzo's basically gone past the point of no return here. He's the bad guy now. So we need to capture Ryuzo. We need to stop him. Taka shows up. He's like, I want to help. We're like, all right, fine. Make a distraction while we come running in here and charge forward. Now, look at all these people. Jin's plan was to just fight these guys. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but I mean, it is what it is. This is where we're going to actually utilize, once again, the smoke bomb, take ourselves out of combat, get through the gate real quick so we don't have to fight anybody. So maybe that was his plan all along. Maybe he knew that he would just smoke bomb his way through it.
Interesting fact, because the developers didn't, you know, think about that you would actually not kill all these Mongols or let them leave the fort. You will occasionally hear a Mongol just shout at us, like they do right now, during the whole rest of this quest. So be prepared for that.
Yeah, they're still aggroed. They're still aggroed on you. So, as you can see, we're tied up. Taka's tied up. Whoopsies. Taka started coming back for you because what happened was when you went through the gate, you confronted Ryuzo, and somebody came up behind you and knocked you out. Shame on them. But then Taka, he just had such a tough time of it, he lost his head. It's over there on the ground, hanging out. Basically what happened in this situation, the Khan comes up, he tells Jin to surrender. He tells Taka that if he kills Jin, then he'll let Taka go free. Taka, being not a fighter, tries to attack the Khan. Clearly no match. The Khan takes his head off. So then he tells Jin that, well, we'll just find another friend and make you decide again. So, sadness. Taka's now dead. So all that let him stand up for himself kind of thing, he's dead now. Doesn't mean anything. He's dead. Poor Taka. Sadness.
Such a cool guy.
That's not the saddest thing to happen in the game, though.
Nope.
Nope, it's not the saddest.
Still more sadness to come.
So Yuna comes through, and she lets out a very sad no. Yeah, as they would say, no. She's a little bit upset that her brother died. I mean, I guess she rightfully so. So now you've got to escape. You got to get through a bunch of Mongols and a bunch of Straw Hat Ronin. So the easiest way, just go ahead and shoot explodey arrows and barrels and hope for the best. Once you clear out the first wave of them, the rest of them start kind of funneling in through the door. So if you can catch them as they're coming in, you can once again kind of take out large groups with bombs. Very effective, very wonderful. That's just how we fight here. That's how we fight. Large group, go boom. So this fight's done. Everything is done. We have basically we recruited Norio, even though we didn't recruit Norio, but he's still recruited. We've recruited the Yarikawa Rebellion. We've got the message to the Shogun, who has now magically teleported a bunch of samurai to the area, apparently. And we're ready to end Act 2 with a big confrontation. We've got to go take back Castle Shimura. It's quite a wonderful fight.
Also, as you can hear, the Mongols are still angry at us. But I think they're just gone now.
So real quick, all we're going to do is we're going to do a quick shopping. We're going to go talk to one of the clan leaders of the samurai that are here with us. He's going to walk us to our uncle, and we're going to start the final battle for Act 2. If you noticed, Act 1 ended right around an hour and 25 minutes. It's been an hour later. We're ending Act 2, and there's less than an hour, and we're going to end Act 3. So that's why I was saying Act 1 is definitely more technical. Act 2 is a little bit less, and Act 3 is pretty straightforward. You're seeing that in the time for sure. But we've got quite a little bit of time here, probably a good 3-4 minutes. If you've got anything you'd like to go over, host.
I'd be happy to. Let's see. So I do want to take a moment to remind everyone that all donations go directly to Imerman Angels, whether you are donating, as an anonymous donor, donating for a specific incentive, of which we have more than a few still available. We have Pokemon names in Pokemon Omega Ruby. We have player name and birthday, and choice of who becomes the dancer class in Fire Emblem Three Houses. We have a choice of game, a choice of player name, choice of main Pokemon name, and more in Pokemon Sword and Shield. And we also have file name and a few other choices for Morrowind and across the rest of the marathon. You can take a look at those choices from the incentives command in the chat, which I have popped in there for you now. So yeah, all of those donations, whether you are donating for the incentive, for a chance to win one of our prizes, the one of 5 shirts or 5 track jackets from Imerman Angels, which are available as part of a raffle. Any single donation that meets or exceeds the limit of $20 will be an entry. But anything that you give, no matter the intention, the aim, or the quantity, goes to Imerman Angels, helps them make sure that no one faces cancer alone. So thank you very much.
Kill them all! Back down! Fight!
I believe I did, Emre, but since you bring it up in the chat, that is one of the most important things about Sword and Shield, that it is a game-specific bid war. Whichever game receives more donations will be the game that is run at that time by the very talented Etiquette. So if you want to see Sword, or if you want to see Shield, that choice is in your hands.
I remember when I got Pokemon Sword and Shield. I remember asking the guy at the local game store, because I don't want to mention any specific names. I said, "Do I have to buy both? Should I buy both? Do I need both?" No, you just need one. And I didn't. I've never played the Pokemon games, so I've never had the idea of that Sun and Moon, Red and Blue, and they're all like the same except for a thing or two. And so I was like, I'm just gonna go ahead and get Sword and hope that that's all I really need. That's all I had.
You know, it's a difference in ethos as you play. If you're one of those people who has to, as they say, catch them all, you at least need to know someone who owns the other version. As has always been the way since my brother got blue and I got red when we were very little.
Oh, I didn't know. I'm not the most nerdy of nerds, I guess you could say. People can revoke my nerd card for a lot of things. I've never watched Star Wars. I've never done Star Trek. I've never done Harry Potter. I never did Pokemon. I've never done D&D. Like, I was a Super Nintendo nerd. That was it.
Striking me down right.
Listen to my man's telling on himself. This is impressive. But that said, you are a speedrunner.
Yeah, what did I do with my life? Not those things, apparently.
What else is there?
So I played a lot of Darius Twin, okay? I like Darius Twin. That game's great. Super Nintendo side-scrolly shooter game.
I dig a good shmup.
Airship. Yeah.
Oh,
That's good.
I think I remember.
Yeah. I was a very non-genre specific gamer when I was young. I played everything. I played Mario, as Street Fighter, everything except for Pokemon. I never got into it.
Well, I mean, I got a dirty little secret myself, as I too have never played a Pokemon game. So, you know.
Hooray!
Sounds like
See, I'm
you
not a-
guys should stick around for some Pokemon Omega Ruby and
I
some
guess
Pokemon
so.
Sword or Shield. Get your toes wet.
Oh.
Push forward!
All right, so
That's
I
not
saw something come across the screen that said the fate of Tsushima. So I think we might be getting to something important.
No, not at all. No,
Oh.
no, we couldn't be getting anything important. So, what we got going on here, for all of you wonderful people that are watching, we are trying to take back Castle Chimera, and it's called the Fate of Tsushima because we believe that if we can take back Castle Chimera, with the help of Shogun's men, then we will be able to take back Tsushima. And this is where I was saying earlier that, hey, yeah, it was great. He wants to adopt us, and we get notified when we go talk to him at the lighthouse that the Shogun accepted the adoption, so we are effectively set up to be in the position of the heir of Clan Chimera and the Jito of this island.
Let's rejoin the others.
However, a cutscene that you didn't see, because again, cutscenes are not speedrun friendly. When we approached this area and Jin jumped down and sliced off the head of the commander, that didn't sit too well with Uncle, and he's yelling at us for basically again striking fear into the enemy, and we should be fighting them honorably. There's Norio, by the way. Say hi and say goodbye. Oh, down he goes. We are not supposed to strike fear. We are supposed to be honorable, and we kind of start disagreeing with that a little bit here on this part. And after we take over this area, Jin and Lord Chimera have a bit of a falling out, just a bit. They do not agree with each other's ideologies, I guess you could say. Ash decided he wanted to shoot himself in the face with an exploding arrow. I like how you did
I was
that.
a little bit late to the gate, and the enemy was too close, so I accidentally shot my ally with an explosive arrow, which wasn't very great. But since I need my resolve for the very next quest that is just coming up, I just decided to reload the checkpoint. So you could chalk that up to that never happened before. So, there you go.
So this cutscene is a really kind of interesting cutscene that, again, we're not going to see. But so you assault the front courtyard, I guess you could say, of Castle Chimera. Once you get up to this gate, the Mongols retreat across the gate, or across the bridge. And Lord Chimera sends all of his men. He says, "Get across the bridge, go!" But the gate is closed on the other side, and it's secured on the other side. Well, the Khan takes 3 carriages with 2 horses each, loads them up with explosive, lights the horses on fire, and sends them out the gate. So you've got 3 carriages of burning horses coming across the bridge, and then they explode, and all your people die. And that's where I'm saying Jin has quite a falling out with Uncle, because he starts yelling at him. He says, "They died because of you, because you are so headstrong going against this guy instead of being smart and tactical. You just want to go at him head on, and he's outthinking you." And that is something that the Khan even says. He says samurai are honor bound. They're this, they're that, which makes them predictable. So he knew that was going to happen. He knew that he could do that, and so he did. And so now Jin is basically like, if we let Lord Chimera lead these men into battle tomorrow, because that's what Lord Chimera is saying, is, "Oh, we'll repair the bridge and we'll attack tomorrow." If he lets Lord Chimera lead the men into battle tomorrow, it's going to be a massacre. And so Jin decides he needs to sneak into the castle. He needs to find a way to eliminate this enemy. He determines that poison is the new best way to do things. So we are going to go through this pagoda here, I guess you could say, this tower. We're going to kill everyone on the way up, and then we're going to spot our path through. We're going to spot our good old friend Ryuzo again, because Ryuzo is, he's always there. And then we're going to determine that the best avenue to defeat all of these Mongols is to poison their Erig. So why not? Let's do that. It's not going to sit too well with Lord Chimera, unfortunately.
A straw hat. Ryuzo. Of course he's here.
So this is also the quest where you would normally get the ghost armor.
I can poison the Khan's fermented milk. Let his army
So,
drink it,
oddly enough,
then kill any survivors.
if you just played New Game Plus, or if this is your first time
My uncle's
watching
men
this
staged a
game,
massacre.
you would not be,
How to reach the Arag without rain.
I guess, too
Protect the garden path.
surprised, or I guess you would be quite surprised. You'd be very surprised. I'm trying to think of the proper words, but I've got to change the entire sentence because I can't think of a word. You'd be very surprised to find out that Ryuzo is not the main bad guy of this story. Even though after this mission, we're going to, oh, that was not a good thing to do.
Nope.
Even after this, when this mission's over, we're going to fight Ryuzo. We've already fought Ryuzo once, and we've already confronted Ryuzo once. Ryuzo is, for all intents and purposes, in the New Game Plus, he is our big baddie daddy. So we're gonna have to fight him again, sadly. And I started telling that story as I was expecting you to get there in time, and
How to
you
reach their
didn't. I'm
feast.
sorry.
Poison their drinks.
I'm sorry.
The thing is, when you assassinate these enemies, their hitbox lingers a bit. So the hitbox of that enemy I assassinated pushed me a little bit off this line that I was walking on. And that is why
That's
I
where
fell
they store
down.
the milk. Now to add poison.
I'm sorry.
But
So
I'm
we
here
get
now.
up here. We get up here to the Arag, which is fermented milk, which I am gonna try to make it sometime because I make mead, and I think that'd be really fun to make this. I don't know if I'll enjoy it, but I'm gonna try to make it. I think it'd be really cool. But basically, the idea is to poison their milk, so when they're partying and they're feasting, they all start doing the vomit blood thing. I mean, that's what you do, right? You take a drink of milk and you spew up blood. That works. Makes sense.
Doesn't
And
sound very
then-
healthy, to be honest.
Nah, milk's bad for you. And then once again, we will change armor back to the Sakai armor, so that way we are ready to go against Ryuzo. And yeah, easy fight, dance of wrath a few times, and finish him off.
So hopefully that works, actually. Because Ryuzo can be a little bit of a bitch, as he were.
So the end of Act 1, you fight Ryuzo. The end of Act 2, you fight Ryuzo.
Me, Ryuzo.
Who are you gonna guess you're gonna fight at the end of Act 3? Give you a hint,
You broke your
but you're gonna have to wait. You're gonna have to wait.
You left me no choice.
That was a good fight.
Good, very
So yeah,
good.
that's the end of Act 2. So we are on to Act 3, the final act of the game. So there is about 45 minutes of game left in this run. So, you know, if you guys want to get some donations in for the bid war or stuff like that, now's the chance.
So Ryuzo, he tries to save himself. When you go in there to talk to him, he basically pleads to you, and he's like, "Tell everyone that I was your spy inside the Mongols. I was working for you to gain the Khan's trust." And you're like, "No, you have to answer for your crimes." And he said, "I will not die to your uncle's sword." So he dies to your sword. He's down. He's dead. You come out of the
Then you deserve it, my lord.
the castle, the main foyer. I'm just gonna call it a foyer because again, words are hard. You
Castle
come
keep.
out of the main. There you go, the keep. Thank you. You come out of the keep. Lord Shimura is coming through. He's seeing all the people spitting up blood, and he's like, "How could you? You poisoned these guys. You didn't fight them honorable." The Shogun wants ahead somehow. The Shogun already wants ahead for your actions that you just did. He tries to get you to turn on Yuna and say that Yuna corrupted you, that she made you do this. And basically, he says, "You need to do this because you are my son and you are the heir to Clan Shimura." And you let him down with just the harshest thing you could say to anybody. He says, "I am not your son." And Yuna runs off, and you go to jail, and he throws the adoption papers in the fire. It's super emotional. In theory, I mean,
It
I don't
is.
know because I haven't seen the story in forever.
It is emotional.
It is
Like,
very
it really is a turning point for the whole story because you basically lose all of your allies now. You're on your own. But the Khan is still at large, and he knows how to fight the samurai and stuff. So there is no way that the samurai will rule against him.
And then coming up is the saddest part of the whole game. You thought Kenji dying was sad? No, this is the saddest
Taka.
part of the whole game. Yeah, Taka. Sorry, not Kenji. Words are hard.
We just saw Kenji. He's still alive.
Yeah, Kenji is alive. He rescued us from jail. Thank you. Thank you. I don't remember things because I'm half asleep. No, I'm good. I'm surprised you're actually still awake, man.
How
It's
are you
super,
half asleep? It's 2 a.m. over here.
Yeah, it's super late for
Damn it.
you. So, as you see, there's a giant pile of dirt and some rocks. Our horse is dead.
Poor Nobu.
No, it was
Our
Kaze.
trusty steed.
No, it was Nobu. That's right. Nobu sniped it at the end. Yes.
It's
Poor Nobu. When you play this game casually, and so host, I'm very sorry. Your horse is gonna die.
Everything.
It just happens like that.
I noticed.
So when you play this game casually and you've got 30, 40 hours of running all around Act 1 and Act 2 on the horse, and Jin is telling the horse that you're gonna go ride on a pleasant ride one day and this will all be over and blah, blah, blah. Well, no. Horse is dead. And he died saving you. He takes like 6 arrows to the booty and he collapsed. And they did a really good job animating it too. Like,
oh my god,
the horse...
that scene is heartbreaking. Like,
It is.
really. Oh my god. And the fun fact, if you play or if you run the new game category of this game where you have to watch the cutscenes every time, you have to watch that horse die every time. It gets to you. And then after a while, it doesn't anymore because I've seen it so often.
Blood poured from
And-
his mouth. Smells
Well,
like
on a similarly emotionally affecting scale, we have a special donation that the donor asked to set aside, and I'm wondering if they'll tell me when the appropriate time for that is.
Fantastic.
They
Hmm. Well, special donor, you keep us in mystery.
Sounds like we're not there yet.
I would
What
say
could it
not.
be? Somebody gonna snipe something again.
Maybe. Maybe. So, the Mongols they've ridden further north, as you can see, because there's snow, so clearly it's north. Again, video game logic. The more north you go, the colder it gets, even though you're on
Winter
an
is
island.
coming.
Yes.
Tsushima Island.
And they have somehow figured out your poison, and they're testing it on random peoples here in this village. And then you get an arrow to the kidney full of poison, and somehow, again, plot armor,
now to find
Yuna
him.
is there to heal you and make you all better. So, not only that, at the end of Act 2, when you tell her to run away, you hand her your sword, you're like, run. Somehow she still managed to get all of your armor, all of your items, all your weapons, and stored them nicely in that little box for you. So
By the mountain,
after you
filled
get
with
away,
blood,
you're still well equipped
defensible,
somehow.
and in striking distance of the Khan's
Well, she probably stole all the pieces, piece by piece or something.
There
I mean, you
go.
gotta remember that between the end of Act 2 and the beginning of Act 3, like, Jin was captured or held captive for weeks or months even before he escaped. So there's quite a bit of time that
sorry.
passed.
These will have to do.
Yep.
for now.
So Yuna asks, "Where's your horse?" And they're like, "They killed him." Oh, this horse will do. Let's go. So basically,
Horse.
Act 3 is about setting up
The Mongols burned
a
lot of towns.
forward operating base,
They pursued their army,
and
fighting
then
each other.
recruiting a couple people so you can
I
get
didn't give
your
myself up. Everyone who
allies
followed me
through
attacked
to the
us
north because they can't
Lord
just come through
Shimura.
Castle Shimura. This
Would have
game
been a
does a really good
massacre,
job of
like the
segmenting the
Khan
areas.
wanted.
Because what they do is
was
the
backed
area
into
that
a
you would
corner.
normally pass
The
through,
Mongols by
before
me
you're
was
able to
duty
pass
the
through
shogun.
that point,
We can
when
only
you
win
get
this
too
war
close
if
to
we
it, it
stand
says there's an
together.
overwhelming force, and literally arrows just
He wanted me to be his
rain
son.
down upon you and you
I
die.
destroyed his dream.
So there's 2
Doing
spots
right
in
doesn't always make things
Act 2 that prevents you to go into Act 3, and one is Castle Shimura, and another one is a fort off to the side that after we make our forward operating base that
When I
we're
was
going
young,
to
Lord Shimura
basically
became
go
my father,
take over.
my
So
sensei, my
hooray
entire world.
for that.
I never wanted
You're
to
having your little
disappoint him.
conversation here with
I have to
Yuna. You're
hope
telling
he
her
can
that
hear this one.
you had to
Whatever happens,
to
his forgiveness
turn
won't
yourself
change
in
who I am.
because option number 1 is it was to save her because
I made my
the
own choices.
Jito wanted her
Never
head,
knowing what they
or
thought
option number 2 it
would
was
make
to
them
prevent a
again.
rebellion. because he knew that if he resisted as the ghost, then his people that follow him would rebel as well, and he didn't want that. And then she asks if he thinks that Lord Shimura will forgive when it's over, and you can say I hope so or I don't care. If you say I hope so, basically Jin just says we've been through tough times and I think that he will forgive me. If you say I don't care, basically he says I've made my decisions and I would do it again if I had to, because the safety of my people come first. The options, the choices that you make in this game, you have a few places where you get to make choices. They don't mean anything. There's only one instance where making the choice does mean something, and that's only in a speedrun sense because it's just a faster option. But there is no overall arching morality in this game like a Fable game or something like that. So the decisions you make don't really matter. It's kind of like whose line is it anyways?
And
the
that
choices
one
are made up and nothing
it's
matters.
even in the prologue that you completely skip on New Game Plus runs. So if you're playing New Game Plus, just pick whatever you want.
Yeah, doesn't matter. Does not matter. So we're assaulting this this fishing village because we need to get over to Jogaku Temple. Jogaku Temple is where we're going to live, where we're going to be, where we're going to hold out for the wintertime. And we're going to see Ash's favorite Mongolian production.
Yeah, Mongols are nice. Always nice to see that. Just a moment here.
They'll see us coming. Pick us off.
Let's bring them to us.
So
It's,
the Mongols,
high-proof plan.
Signal cannon. Lure them
the
onto
Mongols
the
were
ice.
nice enough that once again they have a signal cannon at the ready to bring them over if this fishing village needs help. So Jin says, "Hey, you know what they also did? They left some explosive barrels on the ice because you know that's what normal people do. They don't go
Here we
retrieve
are.
it; they just
Mongols are
leave
nice.
it." Yeah. So the Mongols come across the ice, and we do what we do best: make them go boom. Eventually, they come across the ice. It's a little bit slow, and if your depth perception is off like mine, you don't know exactly where they're in the right spot. But you get enough of them with the exploding barrels and exploding arrows that this fight is real quick. And then you're supposed to, the idea is to kind of go around to the right-hand side and you sneak up on a commander and you slaughter him. But again, that's just slow. So we are going to not even knock. We're just going to go running right through the front door. Because, again, fear is a great thing, so we're going to blow people up. No friendlies were hurt during the attack on this temple. You know, you can make a large explosion next to them, and they're fine with it. No big deal. We're just going to kill everybody off. Scare everyone away. Good times.
No friendly NPCs were harmed during all of that.
That's right. Only one horse.
Also, I totally forgot where Yuna would stand, so I can trigger the quest.
No.
So we've saved Jogaku Temple. Yay. This is where we hold out for the winter, or for the duration of the game. New game after the story, you can come back here, but it's not your house, I guess you could say. For now, it's your house. It's where you live. It's where you do the things. Now we've got to go and basically open up an area for our friendlies to come through. There's a big old fort that's blocking a pass, and we have to recruit some people, some less than reputable people, to help us take that fort over. And Jin shows a little bit of his jelly side on this mission.
Worthy of a samurai.
So once again, items, materials, they're all right here, ready to be purchased. So we're going to buy everything, and then we're going to jump on the horse and fast travel, so that way we can head over to where we actually need to be.
If you got the blockage patrol, yes, there it is. God damn it.
I've never had this patrol myself, but
I
Ash
get
gets
this
it
one
constantly.
so often lately. I don't know, man. Like, this is one patrol that you cannot circumvent. Like, you have to go this way, and if you were to go around it, it would lose you so much time. So what I started doing is I will just equip the Mongol commander's armor because it basically makes you more or less invisible to your enemies. And I mean, you have to get really close to them to actually have them start detecting you. And it just saves. I mean, it loses a little bit of time because you have to menu to put on the armor, but it saves so much time in the long run. Because I've tried to outrun this patrol when I get it with the ghost armor, and I just couldn't do it. No matter what I did, I was not able to outpace those archers shooting me down from my horse. And that would lose you even more time, so I just, you know, started biting the bullet and equipping the Mongol commander's armor here.
Yeah, because as Ash was saying, during any of these rides, if you go past a patrol, you can get shot off your horse. And if you get shot off your horse doesn't come back until you've de-aggroed the situation or gone far enough away to get rid of them. So you spend a lot of time on foot running, trying to get away from an attack. And it wastes a lot of time. So for marathon safety, yes, even PB safety, it's if you are going to get attacked by a patrol, it's better to take the few seconds to put on the armor than to take the risk.
Yeah, for sure. Because it will lose a good 20 seconds or even more if you have to run away from a patrol on foot.
So here we have arrived at Takashi's camp.
Welcome at our
Takeshi's
campfire,
castle.
my lord.
It's Takeshi's castle. You can't convince me otherwise.
You, Takeshi.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
this
I
is-
think we were all thinking that.
Yes, clearly this.
And
is
if you weren't,
Takashi's-
you are now.
Oh, I am.
Oh, sure.
A man is the king of his castle, and so since this is Takashi's whatever, it's Takashi's castle. It's got to be.
Takeshi.
And he is a
Mongol archers.
quote unquote hunter,
Yep.
I guess you could say. At least that's what Yuna tells you. And you get this kind of feeling that him and Yuna may have had a history together. A little bit of history. Some knowings of each other, I guess you could say. So you're supposed to go all the way around once again, S curving through everything, but no time for that. We're just going to jump down the mountain, do a quick little roll, and on our horse we go.
Just see
Once
off the mountain.
Yeah. It was the fastest way down a mountain. Jump, fall for 50 feet, and tuck and roll.
Easy.
Easy. Works every time. And then do a stagger step, and you've got full stamina back.
Unlike
just
the
to
stamina
clarify-
part, I think we don't recommend trying the falling technique in real life.
I don't
I think
recommend
maybe
trying
we're
anything
legally
in real
obligated to
life.
not recommend that.
There you go. Full
Fun
disclosure,
fact,
don't do
though,
anything that you see on Ghost of Tsushima in real life. It might not go well for you.
Fun fact though, the window where you can actually roll to save yourself from actually dying gets like smaller and smaller the higher the fall is. So that very last fall that we do, or the third jump in a row there, it's like really precise to get that roll to not die. So, you know, you have to be a little bit careful with that.
Every once in a while, you'll go splat on the ground.
It happens.
I've done it.
Same.
So we're on our way over now to this fort. I can't remember. This is the only fort I can't remember the name of.
Yeah,
What's the name of this fort?
it's something with K. I mean, Camino Daca is the one from the second act, but this is something similar.
Time to head for the woodcutter camp.
Yeah, we just got to go to this fort and do the thing. Do the thing. So we are supposed to basically stage this to where we attack when our allies attack, but that doesn't necessarily happen.
Back away
Fort
from the edge.
Kamadake.
No, Camino
Yeah.
Daca is the other one.
This is what it says right here. Fort Kamidodake. It says it right here.
Archers
It says it
will
right
have
on the screen.
Good view of the courtyard.
And plenty of time.
What was the one in Act 2 then?
Our force should go there.
Oh, that's
Midodake?
Mitodake. Mitodake. No, it's Camino Daca, Mitodake, and Camino Daque. Oh, god damn it.
Yeah. Fort Midodake is the one with the huachas and the fire spirit thing. Yes.
Right.
So now this part here, this is another part where you can accidentally air assassinate this general. But what we do is we wait for everyone to get close, we jump down, and then we assassinate the general. Because if you do it from the sky, then you're gonna get that stupid cutscene. Stupid cutscene. The worst. So once again, big groups of enemies, standard operating procedure, bombs, or exploding arrows, or anything fire related, just to kind of put the fear into them, for sure. There are 2 generals in this area that you have to kill because, again, they are immune to the fear. So if you can trigger them early in the fight to get as much fear out of them to scare everybody else when you kill them, it's usually best. Sometimes there's an enemy that wants to be hiding either back there behind that building or up in another little archer spot they like to hang out at. Again, an RNG element that we just got to react to. Most of this, for as big as the fights are, a lot of these things, there's only 1 or 2 little RNG elements where an enemy can be somewhere where they shouldn't be. So once again, lying in ambush, waiting for a small patrol to come through. Group of people. What do? You blow them up. Why not? If you kill all of them through this part, you basically just run forward. Takashi is basically, he starts asking you why you're not with your uncle. And you get a choice to lie or tell the truth. Again, the decision doesn't matter. Just make a choice. Come running up here. There's a big old explosion. Yuna and the rest are already starting to make their way through. They didn't want to wait for you. They're just going to do their thing. So you can scout this area out, but we already know the route we're going to take. We're going to go straight through the front door, blow everybody up. And once you kill the general and enough individuals at the beginning of this area, then it will say that reinforcements are on the way. Once it says that, you can go ahead and start making your way through and get to the second portion. All these individuals here will either die from the group that's behind you or they'll get scared away, but they're not anything that you need to worry about. You come down here, there's a big group that's going to be right in front of you and a group off to the left. You attack either in either order you wish, but both groups, quick, burn, explodey, and this battle's over with relative little concern.
That was close.
The fort is ours, my lord. Is everyone all right?
Yeah, in suffering. That's the best.
How many deaths / restart checkpoints did I have that were unintentional? Was it like 2 or 3?
I want to say you've had 2 so far.
I feel like I can think of 3 if you count the gate man who was repeating his animation.
That was a game break. I'm not going to blame him for that one. I'm going to go with deaths. I think he's only had 2. But maybe we should. 3, because he did that himself. He killed the guy up there. It was his fault. It was your fault.
Because I'm just checking the time, and it's very close to world record pace. So
You're doing okay. You're doing okay. As long as there's no major game-breaking glitches, I think you're gonna be all right. But we're not gonna call it yet. So basically, we promised those hunters Fort Kimotake, that fort, yeah, for the winter, and they promised they will help us if they need to. Now we need to go scout out where the Khan is. He's over here at Fort Izumi. Is that what it is? Yeah, Fort Izumi. And once again, this is a mission that they want you to focus on sneak. They literally set you up and have all the enemies in the proper positioning for a sneak mission around the back with an assassinate, go through the bushes, this and that sort of thing. But thanks to the magic of Tumbleweed Samurai, we are just going to go straight up through the middle, making this mission significantly faster. Because if you had to sneak around the back, it saves you at least 2 minutes just rolling straight to the front. So much more good. So much good.
Also,
and this is, yes, it does. We can't just walk through the front door. Well, yes, we can.
Ridiculous.
We'll scout Port Izumi.
So this is the other mission where you scout something and you can skip it. There are 5 areas that you need to investigate, but only 4 of those are required. The 2 on the right and the 2 on the left. You can skip the one in the middle. So that was actually just that one little skip was a good little 10-second save because you don't have to go through the animation and the talking and that sort of stuff. So we find the Khan. We determine that he is probably going to make sail after the next big storm that we can clearly tell is coming because the birds are starting to circle inwards. So we know there's got to be a storm coming. So we decide that we're going to get some watches and we are going to make our final stand against the Khan here. We have tracked him down. He is here and we need to get him before he gets away and gets to the mainland. We're not going to be able to do this on our own. We need to recruit Lord Shimura. And again, we can't just walk in the front door of Castle Shimura. So we devised this very clever plan to write a, hey, look, I know that you don't agree with me in what I'm doing right now, but this is where the Khan is, and he needs to be stopped, whether you agree with my methods or not. And we need to get it there. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to super sneak in there and deliver our personal heartfelt message.
So this is super close to what Rickett pays right now.
Listen, you've still got a very gross Khan fight ahead. So.
Why didn't I talk to you now? Why did I talk to that guy?
See, there goes your record pace. Gone now. Gone now. But hey, look at it this way. You can pick up the rewards and the gifts.
As if I need those.
And while we're busy gathering our allies, I would like to just take a minute to thank everyone in the chat, everyone who has helped and set up, everyone who is running, just everyone who's been involved with this for being allies of Imerman Angels and helping in their fight to help create a world where cancer is not a solitary experience and no one has to fight through that alone. So thank you so much, everyone, just for watching, for being here, for participating. Everything you do means so much, and any donations you could give helps their mission more than you know.
So we'll just name this horse Kaze now because I think it was the second highest donation.
Swift as the wind.
You know, Nobo sniped it from Kaze in the beginning, but now we have Kaze back.
Little did he know when he sniped it that would be the horse that would die. He's like, you thought you were winning something. No, you were not.
You won death.
You won death. Certain doom.
So that's a terrible press. Can I see what's behind door number 2?
Nope. Nope. Door number 2 is Kaze. So there we go. So we had to wait until Yuna was done talking there. We basically, we know how to get in there. We are smarter than everybody. We can get in there. So we are going to sneak up the back, through the cold waters, up the back wall, and go place our little love note. And that is actually, this is a good time. I was going to say, if you wanted to talk about Imerman Angels, you thanked everybody, but I think we can still plug it if you'd like. We got plenty of time.
We got one little trick coming up, so just hold up on that, because we have a swim skip that has been discovered a short while ago. So if we just go into the water here, and I hope it works this time, and do the Dance of Wrath again, you go really fast through the water. Which saves a couple seconds. But yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, to talk a little bit more about how they do what they do, Imerman Angel's unique matching process, they will partner anyone with any cancer type, any age, any gender, anywhere in the world with someone else just like them in a mentor angel program. A mentor angel is a cancer survivor or survivor caregiver who has experienced the same kinds of cancer and will help guide them, encourage them, and support them through that new world of unknowns. The program reaches across all 50 states, across 105 countries, and over 145 types of cancer. When a person is diagnosed with cancer, they can be bombarded with information, fear of the disease, and many unknowns to come. Family and friends may be there to support, but not everyone has the answers to burning personal questions like, what is it like to date after being diagnosed with cancer? What do I tell my kids or my boss? What does it feel like when they insert the chemotherapy needle? These are the kinds of questions that a mentor angel can answer from their own personal experience. Imerman Angels provides us as a free service to fill the understanding gap in comprehensive cancer care by providing the chance to ask these questions through a one-on-one connection with someone who's been there. And your donations, chat, everyone watching, helps make that service possible. So thank you.
Awesome. Now, if that isn't the cause donating for, I don't know, man. So, you know, guys, we still have a bid war going on that you can donate to for a couple minutes longer. So if you want to go ahead and, you know, make your decision known, go ahead and do that.
Yes, spare or
that,
kill.
is that a recommendation to read? You know,
How is that going?
I was expecting you were going to bring that up at a point when it was still a spoiler, but this is a $50 donation from one Aeshmah, who says, "Did you know there is a bid war going on to either kill or spare Lord Shimura until the end of this run? Well, you do now, so get donating."
Wait, didn't I call it out at the beginning? Oh god, must have forgotten about it.
Spoilers! Well, there you go. I don't know what he's talking about. There's no kill or save Shimura. I don't know what he's talking about. All right. Well, the cat's out of the bag, anyways.
Must have forgotten about my own donation then.
That is what I was trying to bring up earlier, but I was erring on the side of caution because I could have sworn, like, you know,
okay.
I was giving myself the possibility that I had forgotten. So, but here we are. So yes, currently the incentive for kill is in the lead by $60. So one donation, two donations could absolutely turn that around. You know, doing a little bit of research, and from everything that you've said so far, I understand the difference is between family and honor. So if you have a preference between those two things, that might guide your hand.
Yeah, just to reiterate that, because there's a thing that I do with the choice at the end. Like, whenever I get a PB, I will kill Lord Shimura, and whenever I don't, you know, I will spare him. And I haven't killed him in a bit, so, you know, I want this run to be able to kill that guy.
And there's no time loss or gain either way, so...
Yeah.
I was about to ask.
It's the very last input of the game that ends time, but it doesn't matter which one we pick for that.
So the difference is a cutscene. That's all the difference is. And I'm going to ask the organizer if we can play that cutscene, regardless of the choice, because either choice that we get is a amazing cutscene.
I mean, it will be well underestimated, and it only takes a minute to watch that cutscene, so just putting that out there. Okay, because we have 10 to 15 minutes left roundabout in the run. So, you know, add 1 minute onto that. All right.
Wonderful.
So, yeah, we actually have a little bit of a stretch time here as we have to wait for Yuna, who is taking her sweet-ass time walking around this camp until she gets where we are. So, you know, if you want to plug something again, or if you want to read some more donations or whatever, go ahead, because not a lot happening at the moment. We are just setting up for the final fight, the big one.
Gladly. I'm actually going to take a moment to stretch and hydrate myself. But while I'm doing that, I will remind everyone and put it up in the chat to take a look at the schedule if you're interested in seeing the upcoming runs, like the runs that our Tsushima runners are, I'm going to say ethically obligated to watch, our 2 Pokemon runs that are coming up. And also our incentives to either choose the game for Pokemon Sword and Shield, to name some Pokemon, to make some choices, including player name and birthday in Fire Emblem's 3 houses, and a few more. They are all available in that sheet that you can see in the chat right now. So if you want to put your donation towards changing the course of one of these games, or in one case, the game entirely, you can make a donation at the donation link and specify what you'd like your donation to go toward in the donation comment.
Wow.
Perfect, because we are now on the final quest of the game. You know, gotta go ahead, kill the Khan.
Who?
Because that's what all this Act 3 is about, right? I mean, it's set zone, the Act 3 title card, kill the Khan. I mean, I don't know
Yeah.
who that is, but
Wait, you
gotta
mean our
kill him, I guess.
rival? He's not going to show up again? I was really hoping for like a third act
no,
twist. where-
Ryuzo's dead for good. Sorry.
He
All
might
right,
be
I mean,
resurrected.
I missed the cutscene, but I'll take your word for it.
I mean, that is
Maybe-
why you have to donate more money, so I will tell you the real story of the Port Izumi party. Yeah.
So, this is our assault on Port Izumi. And this ends with us fighting the Khan. And these fights can be pretty quick if everyone cooperates like they're supposed to. The enemies come from the same locations every time. So again, knowing where the enemies are spawning from and knowing when they are the closest together is the best way to clear these fights out the fastest. There are 3 different barrels that we shoot to make go boom, and Ash will try his best to optimize those 3 barrels as best he can. And of course, you don't need barrels if your arrow goes boom too. One of the things that we mentioned way early in the game, way early in the game, is the fact that New Game Plus allows you to keep your items, weapons, charms, and everything like that. It makes these battles, these fights, these New Game Plus chapters so much easier. New Game, you don't have exploding arrows. You don't even have fire arrows. You don't have upgrades to your arrows. You don't have charms that make your arrows more powerful. So the fights between New Game and New Game Plus are so much different. The runs themselves are not only time different, obviously, as one is 3.5 hours and one is double that, plus it's 7 to 7.5 to 8 hours. The fighting style is completely different. If you want a good fighting style, maybe we can get a New Game run into a marathon at some point, which we have had before, where you actually have to fight enemies. You have to be good at sword combat. And it was really amusing watching Ash try to update himself with that, because he's been doing a lot of New Game. By the way, my favorite tree in the whole game, Dancing Tree. That's Dancing Tree. I may have been a little bit late in calling that just because of the delay, but Ash goes to this post a little bit differently than I do. When I play this game, I go up a different route. But when Ash approaches it, for some reason, how that tree loads, it always shakes. And so I call that Dancing Tree. And I love watching Ash's runs just for that tree. After we get to that tree, I'm done. I have to ask him later how the run went, because I don't care after the tree. So that's me signing out. Everyone have a good night. See you later. I only commentated just for Dancing Tree.
Dancing Tree is the most important part.
Understandable. Have a nice night.
So, as you notice, this armor looks a little bit different than any of the armor that we had earlier. This is the Gosaku armor, and Gosaku armor is an armor that you get with the extra missions. This is the one that you get for all the farms that are being taken over. You have to clear out 6 different farms, you get 6 different keys, and then you get this armor. The reason why Ash equips this armor specifically against Khan is because if you notice the big white bar above Khan's health, that is his stagger bar. He is a pain in the backside to stagger. And the Gosaku armor is designed with stagger effect in mind. And we, again, because we have charms loadouts specifically for equipment, instead of just having a one and done kind of loadout, we have set this loadout to be a, I guess you could say, stagger heavy loadout. So we can defeat Khan real fast, real easy with this. And then he switches over to this Ronin armor again, and I don't know why he switches to this armor. It's a little bit beyond me. I usually switch back over to the Terror armor because there are enemies on the boat.
Couple of reasons for that. There's another fight coming up, and I won't resolve because I use Dance of Wrath against the Khan duel. I am low on resolve, and the Kensei armor gives you more resolve than any other armor, and it increases the damage of your ghost weapons, like the kunai and stuff. And you can see how that will help me defeat the Khan even faster.
See, none of that means anything to me because on easy mode, you pretty much walk up and just slap the Khan in the face a few times and call it good. I mean, it's really not that easy, but I don't have to plan my work around resolve and stuff like that. So I didn't know why he changed to this armor. I think he looks kind of like Raiden a little bit. But we're already through phase 1. As you can tell, the Khan is he already backed up. Ash is going to take a moment to take out the explosive arrows or explosive barrels up top to destroy the enemies that are up high. So that way he can pretty much avoid the extra combat, or as some people call it, the ads. The ads really make this fight pain. So getting rid of them as early as possible is awesome. Phase 2 is down for the Khan. As you can tell, he's already ran up his shield and did his big old slice. And we basically switch back and forth between attack and kunai to keep staggering him. And phase 3 is done. So that was a very good fight. Very fast.
That was a really good fight. Like, that was one of the best fights I had against him ever. But yeah, it may have looked really easy, but there's a lot of technicality in that particular fight on the boat. Like, you have to really know where the enemies come from and what to shoot and what to do. And also the thing is, you don't actually want to try and finish that fight too fast, because as I said before, you do want to gain some resolve, because we used a lot of it during the duel against Khotun Khan. And well, it appears like we are actually not done with the game just yet, and I really want some more resolve for the end here.
Keep fighting.
Yeah, so everything is done. We've killed the Khan. We've saved the island, but yet there's still game. And the Jito, Lord Shimura, he wants to talk to us. And if it wasn't for the fact that somebody already spoiled it, it'd be wondering why does the Khan want to, or why does the Jito want to talk to us? Well, he's been ordered by the Shogun to get rid of the ghost. So that is going to be our final confrontation. We've already disowned Uncle. We told him that we are not his son. Now we have to fight him. And sadness.
Well, first of all, he will now disown us.
Yeah.
And talk a little bit more about his motivation and why he has to do it.
So this is why I prefer kill, regardless of my PB or not, like Ash does. But I prefer kill. And I think that's the more sensible thing to do. Because if you don't kill him, then he's shamed. And if he's shamed, he has to commit seppuku. And so he's just going to have to kill himself anyways. Because if he goes to the Shogun and says, I couldn't defeat the ghost, the Shogun's going to be like, well, go ahead and kill yourself then. So I just do it for him because I care.
So the plot point here is basically that now the Shogun has disbanded Jin's clan. So he is not a samurai anymore. He is clanless. And, he will lose all his estates and his land and whatnot. So we are just going to go ahead and say goodbye to the grave of our father that we had visited previously when we got the Sakai armor.
Will you remain in Jito of Tsushima?
And, we have a little bit more of a chat with our uncle along the way there.
Warriors to fight the Mongols. Good.
Because even though we have killed Khotun Khan, there are still Mongols running around the island that we have to get rid of. And, maybe the Mongols will actually try to come back, even though Khotun Khan is dead.
Maybe. So this will be the last opportunity. If you want to do one more plug, we've got 2 to 3 minutes here where you can do a plug, but then we're going to do the last and final duel and then get our choice as to whether or not we kill or save. So if you want to do a plug, now would be the final time, good sir.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much for the lead-in and for all the gracious opportunities you've given me to tell the people watching more about Imerman Angel's mission over the course of this run. So, as we all know, cancer doesn't stop during a pandemic, and millions of people are still being diagnosed. But at this time, they aren't allowed to have a comforting hand holding them at doctor's visits or a smiling face sending positive messages their way as they undergo surgery. Caroline is a uterine and endometrial cancer fighter who joined Imerman Angels to be matched with a mentor angel while she was undergoing treatment without support from friends or family due to the pandemic's restrictions. In her own words, she told us, to have a mentor angel during COVID-19 and while fighting cancer was immensely comforting and a wonderful support. It has been life-saving to be partnered with a cancer survivor during this time. Going through a pandemic is stressful, but to be diagnosed and to undergo major surgery in the span of 20 days during the pandemic was sometimes debilitating. Had I not been paired with a mentor angel, I might not be here today.
I might have to cut that a little bit short because can you close the bid war once I reach this plaza down there by the tree, please?
We are ready to do that. You let me know when you want the result.
Sure. So basically, when I come down here, or, you know, if anybody wants to snipe that, now is your chance while we do this haiku.
I'm watching closely.
So, you know, we got about 20 seconds or so. So if anybody wants to get in a last second donation, now is the time. Because you will be done on that in a second. All right, and with that, please go ahead, close the bid war, and tell me the result.
With a lead of $60, we will be killing Lord Shimura.
All right, kill it is.
Yay! The best option.
All right, so last fight of the game is coming up. Also get ready on time. Time will come up after the fight when I make the choice.
This is where we part.
Well, it should be in about a minute or so. So here we go, final fight.
Let me go in peace. The wounds dealt my spirit.
I'm letting him focus here. I don't want to talk too much in his ear because I don't know when he is done with it. Lord Shimura is pretty good at his attacks and defending and deflecting and all of that. Even though he's wearing the Ronin or the Traveler's attire, he has all the perks of the Gosaku armor because this armor, this specific fight, even though it changes the armor set for you, it gives you the perks of the previous armor that you were wearing. So Lord Shimura is also one that takes a lot to stagger. So getting him to a low enough health. Perfect. To do Dance of Wrath twice. Quite very nice. Quite very nice. Good job. GG. I like it. And so
right,
the
so
best
let's just
cutscene.
watch that in silence, I guess, because it is the ending.
I will make sure you are remembered as a great warrior, a wise leader, and a father. Thank you, my son. Find me in the next life. I will.
There we go. That's the ending.
So much emote. Very
It
hard.
is.
If I can provide one more emotional moment, you may wish to have this run verified with the members of your community because we clocked it in at 3 hours, 21 minutes, and 48 seconds.
Okay,
which,
so
looks
that
like would be a
is-
new world record.
It is. It's a PB/world record by 1 minute and 3 seconds because the previous one was 3 hours, 22 minutes, and 51 seconds.
I'm going to have to talk to the other verifiers. I'm going to make sure that that's legit. I don't know.
You do know that you are a verifier, don't you?
Oh, yeah, that. So if you choose to spare him, a cutscene that you don't see before you make that selection Lord Shimura says, "Kill me with honor," and if you choose to spare him, Jin looks at Lord Shimura and says, "I have no honor," and he tells him that the ghost is going to be hunted the rest of his life, and he says, "I know." He puts on the ghost mask, turns, and walks away. So emote. There's so much emote. It's so fantastic.
It is. So thank you guys for the GGs. I'm actually a little bit salty because of all the hiccups we had along the ride, like those, at Fort Mitodake, where we had this door thing happening there that cost like a minute or so. So this could have probably been a sub 320, maybe eventually.
Sure.
Oh, well, we'll get
There's
there.
always
Anyway,
optimizations.
exactly. Anyway, guys, this was the run. So thank you so much for having me, for having us show this off to all of you guys. It is awesome. If you want to learn this one, go to speedrun.com, search for Ghost of Tsushima. Go join our Discord. We are happy to help you set up. We have categories that are shorter, way shorter even. We have categories that are also way longer. So, there's something there for everybody. Shoutouts to the community at large, especially Wicked here for providing commentary for a lot of my runs. Shoutouts to Charlatan for being on our heels speedrunning wise, and all the other members who are running Legends and whatnot. You guys are awesome. Keep at it. We still gotta keep that time down, go faster and faster. And thank you so much for the organizers for having us, especially to Kizaron for setting all this thing up. Thank you so much to Imerman Angels for, being you and helping all these cancer guys hold on to hope and survive now. Wicked, you gotta do some shoutouts?
I'm just going to parrot what you said. Big shout out to the community and thank you to the organizers. This was another amazing event. Like I said, I think I do better commentating than I do running it. So this was definitely quite enjoyable. So thank you so much for having us. And we hope that if you guys enjoyed this run, you come hang out in our Discord. If you like the idea of this game, it's definitely worth it. This game is so fun, casual. And then after you get done with casual, you want to learn speedrun, we're here for you. That's it. That's all I got.
All right. So that's everything for us.